All right, everyone. I want to thank you all so much for hanging in there. Just had to get a few things ironed out, but we are ready to go ahead and get started with some more Song of Rapture right here on Lionhead Gaming. Bringing you D&D 3 times a week, and it's Thursday, which means it's time for your wonderful and favorite Valiant Vanguard to get back to work. But I'll pass the reins on over to Monsieur Omen. What do you have for us tonight, Mr. Omen?
Last time we left our Valiant Vanguard, they've just come to the end of a hard and rather bloody battle in the second round of this Trial of the Beasts. But what exactly transpired during that round, and maybe just shortly before the round began, really isn't my story to tell. Can someone tell me what happened in the last episode of the Song of Rapture? Get some deep inspiration before your final fight?
Last time on Song of Rapture. Sorry, I'm taking it. Whoever wanted it. Yeah, I only have half a recap because I started writing this. So you can hop in if you want it. Last time on Song of Rapture, after a short, blah blah blah. I was about to say short, small rest. That's not right. Small, short rest. Tamai Khan hatched a plan to give them a leg up on the competition, calling upon his friends Persephone and Swift Hollow to sneak out of the room. While not explicitly illegal, would very much get them in trouble for it. Under the guise of using the bathroom, they snuck out, Tamai Khan using his bag of tricks to create a cloak to cover himself, with Hollow using her anomalous agent armor, quickly changing her clothing to something more inconspicuous, and Persephone calling upon her druid powers, wild shaped into a small black bird. They managed to escape past the common room with Tamai Khan's distraction, and with the powers with Hollow's anomalous agent armor. With her minor illusion, the group managed to get past a set of guards impeding their way. Finally, they reached a dark room with runes etched into the ground that looked like the magic circles from above in the past battleground that they had. As they looked around, they heard some Kenku coming this way and quickly took to the shadows, hiding as they saw they brought out fossilized parts of various creatures that the group was able to identify for the most part. And I sort of can't remember the ones that Persephone identified. I knew there was the Boule, but that's because Swift Hollow recognized them. What was the ones, Persephone? Or I guess to my console. It was four-armed gorillas or whatever.
And I thought one of them was going to be one of the big four-armed gorillas that we once fought on Stroma. And then there was one with really, really, really long hands, and I thought it was going to be another creature that we fought on Stroma, which turned out neither of those were true.
As, finding all that out with no time to spare, as they realized that they literally had to be back in the room with literal minutes, Tamai Khan, using a copper piece, was able to distract them just briefly enough for all three of them to quickly abscond the area in a blur of cloak and shadow. Sprinting up, ignoring basically everyone, and just trying to use their speed as more of a distraction and making sure people don't stop them, Tamai Khan was able to cast Fog Cloud, covering them as they entered their room. As now it was showtime for the Valiant Vanguard. They went into the same large circle they were once before, but once the announcer finished his story, just before the battle, the terrain seemed to terraform, with many dirt and stone pillars going up 40 feet high. The Valiant Vanguard was able, for the most part, some of them to claim this higher ground as a sort of vantage point for them. When the creatures in these magic circles called Manticore appeared, but it seems nothing else was. It seemed there was some sort of magical difficulty, and not all the creatures in the circles had appeared. While the Valiant Vanguard faced off against the Manticore, the beloved Kenku TikTok announced announced the battle as it unfolded. As the Valiant Vanguard was able to shoot several of them out of the sky for Quildor, the Sand Whisperer, to subsequently finish them off. That's all I got. Alright, someone else pick up. That's all I was able to write.
Popcorn!
As we continued our fight, we could hear the rumbling of the ground underneath us as several of us made it to the low ground, as indeed the creatures that we saw before the Boulets broke out of the ground and started to assail us. getting a good couple blows into Samantha and Persephone as they tried to escape their grasp, as Quildor found himself slowly finding his groove in battle on the far side of the party, holding off one of these beasts, as, again, the strange call-out of some strange difficulties. As the fight went on, 2 more creatures appeared, this time much like the strange chimera-like creatures, the manticores, but this time scaly, of more serpentine form, almost looking like small dragons. The wyverns appeared, and it very quickly started to turn bad as the final little surprise, as the things we thought were going to happen, the strange gorilla creatures we saw before on Stroma were announced. They did not appear, as a multitude of these tiny little insectoid-like creatures seemed to appear, of chittering claws and spines that seemed to fire off of their bodies, as the party got very quickly surrounded by these things and getting chunks cut into us. Some of us holding them from the top, others of us holding them from below, and thankfully with a bit of Luna's magic, one of the wyverns and boulets were banished from the arena long enough for us to try to keep back into our stride. The boulets continue to be problems, but one after the other, we had Swift Hollow and the northern end popping off one shot after the next, each one seeming to kill one of these heavily armored tiny little insectoid creatures, with magic being fired here and there, Quildor holding off almost half of the fight himself, as Tamar Khan jumped around the top of the arena. We slowly thinned their numbers to the point we finally got to cutting off the final few, descending down to our allies, and reconvening to finish off the last of these boulets. And with the call for the end of the fight, as the 2 banished creatures did not reemerge, well, the fight ended with the victory of the valiant Vanguard. As the spell ended, the magic holding these creatures together did as well, as they simply burned and fell to bones, and with the banished creatures reemerging, so did their bones.
Very well done. I think the only thing I would add, unless it was specified and my brain just farted, was as all the creatures sort of burned away into their bones and were dissolved, revealed that, the magic that reanimated them was no longer holding together. The only thing that really remained behind besides their corpses were these other strange reptilian insectoid things who did not burn away.
Oh. I was unaware of that.
As both Tamarkan and Swift Hollow, grant yourselves some Diom inspiration.
Already.
I already had it.
Oh, look at you boys. Might have to roll yourself a D100 tonight then. Let's see how far it gets you.
Oh no, how awful.
Oh, God, I can't roll shit. Can I get the 99 I rolled in
Twitch.
Oh, it's okay. It's like, you know how the pseudo number generation works in Roll20. If you roll low, you have to roll high.
I mean, on the plus side,
you nat 1 and then you nat 20 the next roll. It's kind of weird.
that 1D100 equals more than what your last 3 D100 did.
Yeah.
I know.
Came into the
You only
south,
get-
so.
Yeah, you only get good D100s in this game.
Oh, well.
7 cool beans. As indeed we return to the valiant Vanguard, who now some of you rather bloody, beaten, and at least devoid of some of your magical or otherwise physical resources, have reconvened back at the barracks, where you can hear the sound of the crowd now muffled beyond the walls surrounding you. As it seems like you guys have been given your last, final 30-minute rest. Seems like for some of you who've already taken your short rests, it might be the entire duration. Is there anything you guys want to do during this time in specific?
Did we get those desserts?
Oh, those desserts are definitely there. They see all these sweet, they almost look like the outside. They're like these round puffs of pastry. They seem to be covered in this almost at one point it was like a liquid frosting or something white and creamy and delicious. But it looks like the whole thing has been set in the center of some great brick oven, or at least touched by fire, because some of that sugar has been almost blackened to the point of charred. But when you taste one, it seems like it sparks on the tongue, that sort of sweet and horribly, at first bitter, but then just rich flavor. This really unique taste of a dessert only home to here in Roka.
I
Yes,
thought
we-
you might like these sweet treats.
Oh my god, yes. This person's
How are we
immediately
on
going to grab on
resources?
one.
These are delicious.
I'm gonna need a little rest, but I should be okay on magic, but that last fight was kind of scary. If the next thing we're gonna fight is a lot stronger than everything else that we have handled thus far, my resources might be better spent on making sure everybody else stays up.
Indeed.
Just
I'll do what
call-
I can to try to protect the good number of us. The thing I use with the dragons don't exactly help you from sword and blade, but if it has a nasty surprise, maybe it might help. Ah,
Should
Luna!
try to.
Sorry?
I'm going to say we should try to stay together. I was holding on to a few things that I can only really use once per day for this fight. I still have that amulet and a few other things.
Understood.
I mean, it didn't help when the battlefield shifted in height.
No,
I
it did not.
I'm fine. I find that a sword oftentimes does not dull as quickly as magic.
It's a lot
Luna,
easier to
I'm gonna
sharpen.
attempt.
Can I ask you for a favor?
Depends. What's the favor?
I pride myself a bit on being a skilled hunter at times. I like to study my prey, and I haven't really got much chance to do so. If we had to fight a giant serpent, as it seems, usually I would study such creatures. I think I saw that you had a new little friend.
I mean, sure, but I don't see how that would help you.
I
Especially
simply,
with, wavy serpent hair over here.
I did try to look. I have to admit, I did try to look at Samantha's head, and the last time we had a bit of a break, but I cannot tell if they are actually alive or if they are just hair. I don't
They're
know
very
if
much
that actually
alive.
have real serpents. I don't know. I didn't get much from it. All I have to do is observe it. If I can just see how a serpent moves, how its musculature moves to its set, it will greatly help me in the fight ahead.
I mean, sure, as Luna reaches out her hand, and from underneath her sleeve, just this black serpent seems to slither from it and just pull into her hand. Though it isn't the same as a regular serpent. It's a celestial in the shape of a serpent.
Interesting. Does it
Do
still
you
act
need
as
to
one?
I mean, sure.
It will be useful or it will not. I'll give it a try. Come here, little fellow. So I just reach out my arm to him to crawl up.
This long black serpent slither down her arm onto yours, wrapping itself around, and yeah. You got yourself a little snake friend.
Aren't you adorable? And so go and take a sit down as I start my meditation, as I just sort of let him sit on the ground in front of me as I just sort of watch him move as I center myself.
He does know I can turn into an actual snake, right?
You do know she can turn into an actual snake, right?
Doesn't that take her resources or her energy of some sort?
No,
I
it's
still
as
do need
easy
the
as...
rest.
It's very easy. I can rest as a serpent, even.
It seems a bit uncouth to ask you to model for me, but if you are willing.
Let me tell you something, Tamakon. There have been many depictions of, well, both myself and my family. Modeling is not something that I find distasteful.
But can you talk when you're a giant snake?
She can talk when she's a snake, and I'm so jealous because when I'm an animal, I can't talk at all, but then she can! It's not fair.
Wait, do you have different taste buds when you're a giant snake?
You think she's
Just
controlling
quite
her
quickly
snake?
as an action, Samantha seems to sort of just collapse down into a large bundle of muscular coils.
Interesting. Yeah. I'll begin my meditation while looking at a little snake in front of me and also a big snake on the other side, comparing the movements.
I can attempt to abscond the rune again to see if I can't find any potions or resources for us.
I'm gonna toss one of the sweet rolls to Snake Samantha and see if she likes it.
Seeing you toss the pastry at me and knowing how tasty it is, you can see like just a twitch go down her entire length as it almost looks like she lunges for it, as it just sort of like lands next to her, and she just looks at you and then looks at the pastry. Are you trying to feed me?
I mean, I thought you liked these,
I do like them, but you could have handed it to me.
but you don't have any hands.
Yes, point.
You could have put it down next to me or something. You didn't have to toss it at me like a pet.
Well, I figured you wouldn't want to eat a roll that's been on the ground, Samantha. I thought you were more dignified than that.
I'm on a bench. I'm right next to Luna. It's fine. You just see me just sort
I
of
throw
like,
another
lean
sweet
over.
roll at her.
You throw the sweet roll at me. I just lash out for it and catch it in my mouth.
It is.
Man.
I mean,
Just start-
I break off a piece of what's remaining of mine. I throw it at Samantha.
Yeah, so everyone feed the pet. Everyone feed the giant snake.
Hey, you like these desserts, don't
you're like
you?
a fucking
stupid, dumb,
duck in the
stupid,
pond.
dumb
Golly.
giant snake.
The guard walks in. Where's your leader?
What?
They're like
Yeah,
throwing
I just turn around, my face is covered in fucking ice. What? What do you want?
Fucking chunks of sweet roll comes out of the mouth.
Oh.
Alright.
What were you doing,
So follow.
Yeah, as Swift Hollow, you're seeing this going on. It seems like there's probably more pressing things to do. You turn on heel, make your way back towards the door sounds like to go look for more potions.
Yeah, either cut pursing. Swift Hollow did see like adventurers in that common room, right, or like other fighters.
They were
Perhaps
pretty
cut
far
purse, or maybe
scattered.
even
Are you gonna
I
steal
see.
from people?
yeah, maybe cut purses to get potions or something to that effect, or maybe just abscond the entire place in general. I mean, she does have 30 minutes.
Sure. As you could spend some time, let's see, I'm gonna need a few checks from you. I'm gonna need I'm gonna ask for an investigation check, as you are discerning specific details, finding people who fit the mark, and seeing if they have anything that might be valuable on them.
Why?
Not a whole lot. You do find one person who seems to have a particularly large bag, but fuck, there's some things hanging off of it, but you can't really tell if they're potions or if they're just small sacks. This person seems like they're carrying their entire livelihood on their back. Maybe they don't have a wagon, or they're in between wagons. But you do find a potential target. Do you want to pursue him?
How much time has passed?
It's only been a couple minutes. Again, you're literally just meandering through the crowd right now. You just, as quickly as you can, spotting someone. And it seems like it's hard to pick them out through the crowd. A good suitor for maybe someone who might have a potion, unless you're going to go literally person by person and pick every pocket. This person seems like they probably have something on them.
Nah, that seems unlikely. Swift Hollow. Swift Hollow will just find somewhere else.
Okay. Yep.
Perhaps-
Just going around. Oh.
Well, actually, can she actually manage to get out of the common room? I'm trying to remember. Like, what's outside the Colosseum? But I would have to go through the entire Juggernaut, or Ziggurat.
Yeah, the outside to get to the edge of the Colosseum, it's literally going to be the outside of the Colosseum. If you're going to be looking for anything to shop for, it would be on the complete other side of the city. You would be hard fucking pressed to get there, get a potion, get back.
Alright, then she'll just keep looking through the warriors. Or what
Okay.
have you. Just trying to find a new mark
Okay.
then. Even going to a new location if she has to.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for 3 more investigation checks. But this is basically be
Alright.
you spending most of your time doing this, I'm assuming.
This cut personally only takes like a couple moments.
Sure.
Fine.
Okay. So with your combined searching for about 15 minutes or so, just taking some time maneuvering between them, it's about the 15-minute mark that you do find at least one individual who looks like he's mostly bare-chested, but he has like, it looks like greaves on. He looks like he's wearing like some like open-vested, you almost say it's a shirt, but it's more like just strips of silk and linen. Looks like a warrior who is a resident of this place, wearing the same sort of Roken attire you'd expect. But you do see hanging from his side. It looks like they're not potion bottles as you'd know them, but they do seem to be flasks of something with, I guess the glass itself is somewhat either stained or tinted, so the liquid's color inside is hard to see. It's mostly like a gray color. But you can definitely tell he has about 3 of them on his right hip, and one of them he occasionally takes out to take a sip of. But every time he puts them back, they all look the same, and they're kind of jumbled together. As you can possibly try to sneak up to him and try to pickpocket him. Basically, I'm gonna need a stealth check if you want to try to get close, which shouldn't be a problem, depending on how well you do. Oh, easily enough. Yep, able to
24,
slink
Jesus.
between the crowds, sliding your way between them until eventually you get close enough when you are within reach. And again,
What is it
closer.
attached to?
It's basically like he has them tied to his waist. Like they're basically quick access bottles, like tied to his belt. The strap wrapped around just below the neck of the bottle. So if he needs to pull one out, he can just grab and tug. Looks like you can sort of hear his conversation as you get close enough. It seems like he's excited. He heard that Ramses has come down from the stadium for whatever reason. Looks like he's going to go talk to someone soon. But he's basically trying to get a hold of him so we can actually speak to him directly. But it seems like he's having trouble doing so. But as you get closer, again, you see these 3 bottles, each one filled with liquid, and not really sure. They look like they could be potions, or they could be a tonic of some sort. The third one, really hard to say, but they're sort of indistinguishable from one another. If you want to try and steal one, it's going to be a DC 15 sleight of hand check. If you want to steal 2 of them, it's going to be a 20. If you want to steal 3 of them, it's going to be a 25. If you fail, he will notice you.
Can I pick which ones I steal?
Sure. Basically, there's I guess on his waist, there's a front one, a back one, and a middle one compared to his waist. You can pick one in particular and try to steal it. Or, if you want to steal more than one, it's going to be harder.
What if I try to cut his belt? He'd probably notice.
It would definitely be a way to steal all 3 of
Cut
them,
his
but
belt, right? Yeah,
it's basically it's going to be your sleight of hand for all 3 of
cut
them.
him off. Yep.
Yeah. Again, it would be pretty hard pressed for you to do that. You have to be some sort of skilled sleight of hand person to get that done. What do you think, Peter?
I'm just thinking, if only I was 1 level higher.
Yeah. I wish, right? Sure, it's with Hello using the tools that she has, namely a quick palmed blade at her wrist, so it's quite natural for her to not even having to reach for one of her daggers, but then just sort of lean her hand down and then using one of the blades. She'll try to basically cut away which one did you say that? The 2 that aren't the one he keeps sipping at.
Again, he keeps switch. It seems like when he puts them back, he'll like mess with one or the other. Hard to tell which one is which. He reaches down either towards the front or the middle and seems to take a swig of that. But again, from the distance, hard to discern.
And then she'll take the back in the middle one.
All right, so give me a DC 20 sleight of hand check, baby.
Oh, this is where you need to use your...
Yeah, yeet.
Yeah! Guys, how do you steal it from this guy's belt without him noticing you?
Yes, with Hello. Are there people around?
You were surrounded by a crowd. You're like in one of these like puddles of people currently circled and talking to each other with like the spaces in between constantly shifting with passerbys.
Yeah, Swithalo approaches. She uses a bonus action to activate her quick bomb just before she gets near him, as she brings her wrist sort of close to where they are, but then in one fell swoop, she moves the blade just in between where the bottle is and where it attaches to his belt. That she just cuts one and cuts the two ropes. I guess cuts the ropes that are attached to the two bottles. That it's easily enough she's able to sort of face her palm away from her body and then just catch them. She just walks away.
All right, in
Wonder
one
why they-
swift
yeah.
motion, a gentle slice of an edge of a blade severs the connection holding these two back bottles on this man's body. You carefully palm them as you walk by, and to an onlooker just sort of glancing around to get your perspective, it seems like you're just a simple passerby with your single hand swiping and walking away with this man's possessions. You don't really hear any sounds of pursuit or someone of surprise. It just seems like you've, for the time being, gotten away with what you've done. Let's see. As you make it, I guess, headed back to the room.
It's only been about 15 minutes, right?
About 15.
Yeah, so Tala will still try to shike around for more, lurking around.
All right.
She'll only spend a maximum of perhaps 10 more minutes.
I would
You
roll one
won't
more
find her time
investigation
that
check then.
closely.
Because I would say your last 10 you rolled was the next 5 minutes of time, and then one more roll. We'll see if you determine to find anything.
Gotcha. Hey, that's not bad.
Hey, pretty decent. Yep. You look around, you see more people with bags on them, not so much potion bottles. It seems like most of them are carrying their money on them, and perhaps weapons of sorts, but not so much any more potions, unless they might be hiding them in a bag.
So it's like the guy that had all his possessions in the one big bag.
It's more like the only people you can really find are people with like these arms like sacks and bags at their side or like hung over their shoulder. Some of them holding it in their hand. They might have coins in them, but some people do keep their bottles in bags. They don't really like to walk around with precious breakable things at their waist like this guy. So you'd be gambling to see if they even have potions if you go after them.
How big are the sacks usually?
Usually they're enough to carry like I think it's a sack is a cubic foot.
No, that's not bad. So I could probably like palm one. Well, not palm, but I can probably hold one of them.
Sure.
But not palm.
Okay, so you're just going after random duder?
Which one seems the most well equipped is pretty vague. Sort of like in the same vein of the guy I just stole from. Which one looks more like he would, in fact, be those kinds of people's to carry, and not really more, I just keep everything in this one bag.
So the people you've been spotting are kind of similar in that regard. They just aren't as open about their, walk and carry, as you would say, of their potions as this guy was. So they're about the same disposition, probably have the same money to afford such. It's honestly kind of a crapshoot. It seems like if you had any specific details, two of them seem like they're from out of town. They seem like they're more mid-Mobians with their like clothes similar to what you'd expect of like, I guess what you'd see like on Luna or someone like some nicer clothes, less accommodating to the desert. About I think out of a total of like 10 or so people, 2 of them are that way. 6 of them are clearly Roken, dark skin, loose clothes, large sacks and things are carrying on their body. Some of them seem evident of coins. Some of them are hard to say what's inside them. Last couple seem like they're from far away. You see like a couple looks like sharp-eared elves with long flowing robes or tight-fitting silks of non-Mobian material. Might be from Tyrion, might be from Illyria. Kind of hard to tell, but those are your options. Rokins, 2 Mobians, or 2 elves.
Where did they have their sacks? It's like, do
It's
most
just
of them
over.
have them just
Some
like
over the shoulder, some are
Okay,
holding in their
alright,
hand,
yeah.
some of them have them on their waist, and then like attached to a backpack. All sorts of places. All you might consider equally challenging to steal from.
Sure. Yeah, so I guess she'll go with the one that looks to be the fullest.
Sure. You find it looks to be one of the far travelers from Mobia. Looks like he has his backpack and a bag hanging off the back of it. Looks like it's pretty well stocked. He's been traveling for a while. And if you're gonna try and steal from him, it's gonna be a DC. Yeah, it's gonna be a DC 15 sleight of hand to steal his bag.
Nice. I suppose I could steal the entire backpack, huh?
Might be a little hard to take a backpack off of someone without them noticing.
This
I'd
ain't
be impressed if you
Godbound, boy.
could.
This ain't Godbound. Just
Welcome to
completely undress him.
Skyrim. What do you mean I'm
I
naked?
pause.
So yeah, Smith Hollow. Yeah, using sort of having her massive. Jesus Christ, I hate how big it is. Her fucking bag of holding, but using its sort of taking advantage of its special ability to sort of blend itself in and make itself more noticeable. She sort of has it. Can I fold them? Bags of holding be folded? Should we ever come to a consensus on that?
There,
You have a sack one though.
you
Yeah, the
have a
sack
big
one.
ass sack one. You could kind of fold it. I don't really prescribe to it's big and constantly lumpy, but it is a fucking heavy bag. You're basically concentrating 15 pounds into a single spot.
Ugh. Okay, then.
Calling around
Never
a bit,
mind.
bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, then Smith Hollow will. If it's just attached to his backpack and he sort of has his back, and again, we're in sort of this faceless crowd area.
Oh yeah, still swimming through the public.
Yeah. Yeah, then easily enough, she will attempt to just cut this bag off, and then in one swift motion, just catch it just below sort of her waistline. Making sure that even if prying eyes see, they won't see whose hands it exchanges into. All they see is a flash of silver and perhaps a bag falling, but nothing more than that. Nothing else to piece together.
Okay. Give me that sleight of hand. Give me that sleight of hand. Hey,
Woohoo.
still on your game. Again, just a phantom walking through the crowd, gently, almost impossibly brushing close to him. Swift movement. Bag's been severed from his backpack. New bag of something weighted and hard to tell what's exactly inside, but it definitely feels like whatever's inside is more than just a single object. As you look
Sack full of human heads.
Yes, with all of
Sack
our heads
full of
back.
human heads.
All right.
Oh god.
That'd be quite awkward.
Sure. As you're making your way back, what are you guys doing during your break? Anything specific besides like Tamarcon studying Snake Samantha? Is there anything you guys want to specifically do?
I'm gonna sharpen a sword. Oh, I suppose I'll finally get a bow.
Yeah, sure. There are plenty of
What are
bows
these
around.
bows?
Long bows, short bows, crossbows, hand crossbows,
Yeah, I
heavy
want,
crossbows.
I want the +8 magic bow.
Oh, they lost that one.
Kill. Ah, damn
That
it.
one's gone.
Oof.
That one's
They
on
have an
retainer
oath
right
bow
now.
though. It's an oath. It's on the ceiling.
Oh yeah, another bow. Yeah, I'll take one of those.
Yeah, I'm just sort
Take
of.
two of those magic replenishing tears and just squeeze them in my hands as they go in blue and then they come out completely black as I suck the magic out of it. Get two
These
purple
two-
spots.
These two crystals seem to be consumed by your magic, turning color and eventually just sort of dissolve into this fine gray dust and disperse as you suck out the magic from inside.
Oh, black yeah. It's okay.
Just eating cream puffs and focusing on healing. I'm in a lot of pain. And also, I guess, being a weird snake model for Tamarcon.
Okay. I'll bet you
Does that
Persephone.
inspire everyone else?
Watch me be a snake.
No, Persephone is going through some of her herbs and just druid crafting the flowers on her head as she's resting because oof, that hurt a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Quildor, here catch as I toss a potion at Quildor.
What is this?
It's basically what I did for you the first round, except in potion form. It's one of the prototype potions that I got. It's a potion of haste.
I mean, I was gonna be really big this battle.
Oh, well, then give it back.
Drink them both at the same time.
No, I'm
Don't
pretty
do
sure.
that.
I'm pretty sure Tenzin said don't drink two potions at the same time, otherwise the world implodes and everybody dies.
He said things could happen, but they may not.
What
mean, the-
better way to find out?
You're quite lucky when you need to be, Quildor.
I mean, it's a pretty
don't
big
remember-
battle, Samantha. You don't want the valiant vanguard to fail, and them to look like, pathetic losers in front of all these people.
But what if it does
All my hit
something
dice, right?
really good?
How many have you used so far, Persephone?
6.
You can,
Am I
you
not
can
allowed to do that?
pump. You can pump all your hit dice. You can shove all your hit dice into one
Yeah.
healing surge on
Shove
short
'em
rest.
all. Hell yeah. Because I need it.
Okay.
Oh, wait, are you
That's
actually,
I appreciate this, Luna. I will probably use
Mel,
this
you
when
were
I think it's a
rolling-
little bit better.
you were rolling d4s that whole time?
Yeah, those aren't your
My
actual
hit-
hit dice. Your
Yeah,
hit dice
your
is not a
D8s.
D4. You
That's what it
Yeah.
says.
No, it's a
What?
lie.
It's roll 20. It always defaults you to D4 for whatever reason.
yeah.
For
Yeah.
some
Have you
dumb
always been
reason.
doing that this entire game?
Is it just a wizard that's a
You're
D4?
a
Don't worry,
D8
don't worry.
baby.
You had like 15
There's
health
no
to start
D4,
with.
boys.
Yeah, 15
I think
health to
so.
start with. Just roll back the clock and re-roll. I got you, baby.
Christ.
Said it's a
I remember your health.
D8, right?
D8,
Druids?
baby.
Yep. Druids are D8s.
Yeah, you're a
Yeah.
tough girl. Wizards and sorcerers have more than a D6. Who even has a
Yeah.
D4?
Spellcasters,
You get this, baby.
Nobody has a D4.
no one gets
Monsters,
D4.
right?
Commoner has a D4.
There you go.
There we go.
Wizards in
Triple
first
sugar.
and second edition have D4s.
Yeah, there you go. So it seems like everyone's spending their time resting. Sotolo's out gathering supplies, quote unquote. On your way back, Sotolo,
Acquisition of resource.
acquisition of resources. As you've acquired a couple resources and now are sort of quickly slinking your way back towards the room, you sort of brush past someone for a moment, maybe just trying to get around them, and then you feel this heavy hand just fall down and just plant itself on your shoulder as you hear this deep booming voice behind you. There you are. As you turn, I don't know, what's your
turn around
instinct?
and I give him a smile.
Sure. Turn around with a big smile. You see a massive man, tall in height, broad shoulders, gray to white, silvery, spiky hair. You'd almost think it was Quildor, but the long, flowing beard on his face proves otherwise. As you stand before the champion Ramses, who was sort of embracing you in this almost like half warrior hug. There she is, the huntress herself. You've made quite a name for yourself, elf girl. Tell me, is this where the rest of your friends are staying? I have some words of wisdom for them.
If you'll follow me.
Oh,
I'll
very well.
Returning to them now.
Perfect timing. That's the key to being a champion of the arena, of course. Perfect time. As the door just sort of throws itself open, you see Swift Hollow standing there, and then towering over her, behind her, is this massive man who sort of forces his way into the room. There you are!
Valiant
Valiant
has
Vanguard.
a hand on her hip, and she smirks.
So,
Walks
Tyler,
in.
why did you bring trash into the room?
Ha! This one speaks with a dagger for a tongue. Do you always speak that way to champions?
It's good to see you.
Yes,
Oh, it's good
yes.
to see you too, Gildor. And you, I'm sorry. Name's forget me. Persephone. Beautiful name. Oh, that fight you had last round. That was quite something. I hadn't seen someone shed so much blood in that arena in quite some time without dying. Well done for standing on your feet.
Yeah, I got close.
Oh, close is not the same as claiming, my friend. Well done, as he gives you a really rough pat to the shoulder as you're still sort of healing your wounds.
What, are you feeling some nostalgia facing the Pharaoh?
Oh, it's been some time since I've seen that old girl. But our last clash left me, well, wizened, one might say. So I figured, with you all lot doing so well and facing off against the great beast, well, I thought I'd lend a touch of that wisdom to you.
Wisdom is
tell you,
always
Oh, of
welcomed.
course. Sand Whisperer, you're going to need all the help you can get. This girl, this old sweet girl who I've danced with before, and she's called the Scourge of the White Sea for a reason. She used to hold domain in this great expanse of sand for quite some time, and seems to have made it her own through touch. The desert is her ally, and she may not fight alone, so to speak. And perhaps Vin may have filled you in, but this serpent you're fighting is quite a harrowing beast. People think she's one of the Titanborn, actually. And well, from first-hand experience, you'll find that simply striking down this beast may not be enough. The more you cut into her, the hungrier this girl gets. But when we fought him last, with my friends at the time, we fought tooth and nail, and we too underestimated this great beast. And as a result, all of them were almost fell, were it not for me standing valiantly before them. But valiantly I fell fighting her. I died to save them, and as a result, I became the champion. And so I wish to extend this upon you. Heed the stories you hear of this beast, and stay true to your allies. If they are in danger, you must come to protect them. This fight is deadly, and if you hesitate, well, this may be the last time you see your friends in one piece. But don't worry! Perhaps the gods will deem you worthy as they do I, and you'll come back again.
It's not the first time we heard that when we set out to fight Obsidius.
It doesn't make
course.
it any easier.
They say that we should stay close to one another. How did you eventually slay the beast if you could not cut her?
Well, the more I cut her, the more teeth came to bite me. And so I went where those teeth were coming from. She ate me, and I crawled inside and cut and stabbed until everything went black, and my body went numb, and soon I was no more. But when I was awoken, brought back to life, as it were, I'd been told the beast had died. She choked on me! Could you imagine that? The old girl choked on Ramses! A bit too much for her to swallow, it seems.
What a
Interesting.
specimen.
But I do hope to
actually
see
win. Just
Well,
you kind of stumbled into a victory.
oh, yeah, I would have died on my own had I stood against Pharaoh. But the three kings were known for their strength and might. Their power allowed her to be weakened for me to stand before her on my own. But Pharaoh's might almost did them in as well. I would not have even, well, not even had the chance to try and take down this beast were it not for my allies. So perhaps I didn't win, but I'm alive, and it was my actions that killed the beast. Perhaps leads me to my second point. A wise tale a man once said, although there is glory in this arena, you are fighting for your lives. So you must do what you can to survive. Save your friends, save yourselves. But this fight might be more than a simple dragon. Oh, who knows? Maybe you'll master it in a single strike. I would love to fight you if that were the case. Challenge you for your title, or you challenge me for mine.
Interesting. Well, either way, you're going to get an excellent show, Ramses.
Oh, I'm sure. And your little friend is out there watching, Quildor, your little sweet serpent. She is quite worried for you when you are cornered against that rock, but I had no worry for you. I know your little trick you can do when danger surrounds you. Poof, disappear.
Indeed.
But I know you'd never run from a fight! But time is ticking. I hope to see you do well in this fight, Sand Whisperer, and you, valiant Vanguard. Keep your swords sharp, your mind sharper. Go put on a good show.
Always.
As he's gonna walk by and like take your hand, cool, just sort of warrior grasp it for a second with a big old smile, give everyone like a curt nod, and then with big, heavy steps, lumber his way out of the room.
Luna, do you have any more of those gems?
I have one. So toss that to
Can I have it?
Persephone quickly grabs it and uses an action to take some of. I'm just giving myself a third level spell slot.
You know, that might not be a bad strategy.
Stay close.
No, be
Get
eaten by
eaten.
it.
Good luck with that, Cold, or I will not be joining you on that venture.
I mean,
That
it is
is
true.
perhaps-
An animal is the most weakest on the inside.
Or from underneath. there is a problem with being inside of that thing, Quildor, besides the notion of it. No one can help you. It is a
That's true.
plan of last resort at best. If you find yourself standing alone with all of us bleeding on the sand, then sure, try to make yourself the next Ramses. At that point, anything might work.
I might be able to get my fire dancer in, maybe trick it into eating her.
It's
Just
not a
standing
bad
too close to
idea.
her is enough to hurt someone.
If only there was a way to cut through its flesh so I could see outside of it. I could easily teleport myself outward. I have to see where I'm going.
I imagine this thing's going to be quite large, so that's going to be a lot of cutting.
Maybe I will have to
that
drink both
managed to
potions.
eat Ramses.
Friendly,
We
a large
are
fellow.
the Valiant Vanguard, and we should stick together. But, Persephone, if you can, you said you had some sort of fire dancer, or perhaps some of your Fey allies. They are part of the Vanguard as well, those you can call upon. Do not hesitate to do so.
Okay, and we should stay close. I used up the rest of my fairies in that last trial. All my healing magic doesn't go quite as far. So I won't be able to heal anyone from the other side of the arena like I did during the first round.
Understood. Ecuador, if you are going to be imbibing of your potion to increase your speed, mind if I have the other?
You want to be big?
I would love it.
Of course you would. So I'll hand him the enlarged potion.
Thank you very much, sir.
What's in the bag?
Sure.
Da-da-da.
You open up your bag. Roll me a d20.
1d20.
Come on, 20.
1-1.
Ooh,
Oh.
lucky 13.
Let's see, one sec. Okay, interesting. All right. So Tyler, you open up this bag, and when you first held it, you felt that there were multiple things inside here. And as you're now opening it, yeah, these aren't potions. But what you do find inside are just these strange. I mean, I guess they look like silver or steel slugs. These, same little things you'd expect, like in the pit of a sling. But they're sort of strange shape. They're cylindrical, and they almost look like they're attached to some mechanism, like some sort of base or a stand. Like you're sort of looking them over, and you don't know really what these are. I guess give me. You know this. So the one thing you'd really notice as you're turning them sort of over, like getting an underlook, it seems like these little bases, these cylinders have, these silver cylinders have, seems to have like a small insignia on the bottom where it looks like there's like a small metal pin, like a metal, divot at its center. It looks like there's the insignia that you would recognize through your experience as the mark of Broken Ridge. Looks like whatever these things are, they are made to the far north. But what purpose they serve? I don't know. Sling bullets, I guess?
Something for Gizmo. Alright. Tie that back up into the bag of holding.
Okay.
Alright, and now potion testing time.
All right.
Oh, it's alcohol.
one-
Who knows?
One bottle up, just sort of tasting each one. You can see what it is.
Yep. Just taste in a
Perfect.
little bit.
Alrighty, let's see. Where you are? There you are. All right. So the first one you taste immediately has this flavor of a tonic. It's bitter and metallic at first, but then it has this really strangely invigorating finish, almost like the same feeling you have when you look at the end of a battery, but it has this really strong alcoholic taste. As you sort of look inside, the liquid seems to be almost silver and sheer, like that of a steel mirror, but it's clearly liquid. And once the smell hits you in your sharp elven senses, you realize you're just drinking a touch of Steelforge Stout, this dwarven drink that apparently is very potent, very strong, and very good at getting people sickened if they drink too much. It's really only a drink by dwarves because it's basically drinking a touch of liquid metal. and it can make you real sick real fast. But some dwarves fucking love it. As you taste the other potion, the first thing you do is, as you give it just the slightest little taste, you can immediately feel this warmth spread across your tongue, and suddenly it sort of just like ripples all across your body like a relief. As you, in your sleuthing and well investigating, have found yourself a single superior healing potion.
Ooh.
Nice. All right. So we found ingested poison and potion. All right. Well, let's go pour these into separate containers lest we get them mixed up at a crucial time. All right. Here you go. Here's one of the vague-looking vases that you can't really see. Are you sure this is potion? I have no fucking
So this
clue.
will either heal you or this is actual poison.
Yeah, you are literally drinking mercury.
I don't know about that.
There he is. There's that voice we all missed. As
Swatala just pours these into the glass bottles that she has for her poisons.
Sure, just 2 small vials. One clearly this bright crimson red. The other one this, again, like steel-looking color. As yeah, eventually you start hearing the horn sound from outside your waiting room, as it seems like your resting is done, your waiting is over. It's time to put a show on.
All right. Well, we had a bit of advice from Ramses. But I have seen what we can do when we put our minds to it. I have seen what we have accomplished already. It is hard fought and hard won. As Samantha takes an action to shift back into her real form, letting her hair rest down. But we can do this, Valiant Vanguard. We can add to our titles and add to our prestige. And be remembered something greater. As you all get the benefits of inspiring leader, enjoy.
Gain your 15 temporary hit points.
Hey, there is nothing wrong with getting a total of 45 temporary hit points per battle.
Yeah. I'll remind you that I'll be utilizing my Amulet of Gleam and Zeal, which will be within a 30-foot bubble of me.
What does that mean?
God, how many levels does Samantha have compared to me?
Seems like she's strangely on par with you.
My God!
But she speaks from so on high. As eventually the doors open, a pair of guards lead you out to the center of this great arena, which again seems to have shifted since you've last entered. There's no longer these giant stone pillars. The ground is no longer covered, and it looks like craters or holes where it seems like these things have been digging and tearing. And strangely enough, the pillars that once stood are now sort of wave-shaped. It seems like there's much more of them in number, and some of them well spaced apart, what you can only imagine to be to make room for possibly something big. And the other thing that stands out is you look towards the center to find the great circle you guys always step into, and you find it, but it is considerably larger than the last one you entered. As place yourselves wherever you wish to start, inside the center of this circle.
Leave that alone.
You can see the seam up there.
As you can hear you guys walking out onto the hard sandstone ground, the crowds are cheering, they're smiling. You can see many more faces now filling out the stands. Everyone has come to see the final battle. As from the height, now sort of lost in the number, except for maybe just framed in this like great stone box, you can see and hear the sound of the announcer bringing you in. And there they are, the Valiant Vanguard, the great and wonderful warriors from the center of Mobia and spread from all across this land of Hoth. They've come and slain beasts from the past. They've slain monsters twisted by the blood of fallen titans. And now they come to strike down this great champion of beasts, this queen of the White Sea. And joining us for this final fight, to share his own words and story, we have the one, the only, the reverend, the honored, the great Wizard King himself, Jedi Alasahir. As you can see up in the stands where it seems like Vin is this tiny little spot that is Vin, you can see this sort of now shining and metallic form of the leader of this city sort of rising and motioning a hand towards the crowd. It's sort of red, gold, and blue covered armor, standing out quite well. As Vin watches you guys center yourselves towards the heart of this arena, he seats himself and claps his hands together. Well then, valiant Vanguard, you've had your rest. You've tended to your wounds. It seems the bleeding has finally stopped. Are you ready for this one final challenge? Are you ready for what might be the greatest fight of your lives?
We're more than ready. We're eager. Show us what it is you have prepared.
So I'm holding on to Luna's potion, waiting for something to start to shift, and then I'll drink it.
The enthusiasm
has
never
her
dies.
skin or stone skin potion out.
Nice. As you guys are gathering things,
I forgot to use.
you
Everyone
see
get your buffs
Vin
ready.
seems like Vin steps to the side as Jetty sort of takes the stage. Well, the story I would finish this trial with would be a wonderfully told tale. It seems that our Wizard King always holds a tradition of finalizing this story, for he is the keeper of tomes in this city and knows it far better than I do. Your Majesty, if you would. As you can hear the crowd's voices dying down in the background, as seems like he carries a presence with himself, this Wizard King. As he steps forward and sort of motions his hands outward, the voices start to die down, and then you hear him speak. When the Titans fell, when their blood spilled across this land, it was the Titan-born who rose from them. The dragons who took to the mountains and the great plains. The giants who carved holes in the earth and made their domain, forging the world's first weapons and armor. There were others among their kind, those of great power who share this title, who ruled in their own domain. There was one Titanborn, who rests at the heart of this great desert, one who ruled over the White Sea and its inhabitants for hundreds of years. She was revered as a goddess by the earliest people of this land. And with her might, with the magic granted to her by the Titans whose blood spilled to forge and birth her, she wielded this great desert as her weapon. She was a queen in every right, but as very much as a scourge to her people, those who worshipped her. Bringing power to worship, power to revere, but death to those who would ever stand before her. Her end finally came when the dragon descended from his mountain, when the dragon brought the Scorchlands to this desert. It is a tradition every year that the remnants of this great queen be brought back to life, granted new vitality, as to represent the death and rebirth, the loss and the memory of the great terrors that once plagued our land, and to prove that each passing generation will not falter in strength. They will stand resolute, stronger than the last, able to stand before and cut down the horrors that came from these great and terrible tyrants. Valiant Vanguard, contestants of this arena, I bring you Pharaoh. As all around you, the ground suddenly shifts, and the circle around you begins to glow, as it once did before. And as the shifting of your feet starts to make itself more well known, it almost feels like the ground's getting ready to rise back up again. The earth is changing. Instead, it doesn't go up, it goes out. It spreads and it dissolves until all of you find your feet up to your heels sinking into the ground as the earth beneath your feet, once hardened sandstone, has changed to a loose and coursing sand. As it's time to roll some initiative, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Look to
Hell
me when you
yeah.
find yourself in danger, and I will always be watching out for you. I will try to use my action to Amulet
Whoa!
of Gleam and
On
Zeal.
initiative! Again!
Oof.
Oof!
The sand shifts. Earth is. Give me a sign.
John, I had to restart my total.
Only an 8. Oof.
Uh-oh.
How am I gonna roll a 2?
Double left click.
Alrighty. Let's see.
Take my amulet buff up, God.
Alrighty, is that everybody? Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, monus. Catch a tiger by the toes.
If he
All right,
hollered, let him go us.
Did we get everyone, looks like?
I think so.
4, 5, 6, and everyone here?
Do you hear me though?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
It's, yeah, so
Did you hear him, Omen? He put up his amulet thingamabobber.
Sure. Activating your amulet and spreading your
This
word.
potion.
Okay. Alright, which potion you drinking, Kodor?
The haste one.
Alright, you feel... Oh, cool. As you drink that potion, Kodor, you can feel this energy beginning to spread throughout you, almost like lightning, coursing throughout your entire body. And this sort of strange itching sensation as your armor feels a little less, not comfortable, but like almost like you're getting a little overstuffed inside of it. As suddenly you can see, like through the tufts of your gauntlets, this is very interesting. Through the tufts of your gauntlets, almost looks like hair is growing out between the folds of the metal until you see how long and thin and preened they are. As you realize, although most of your body is covered in armor, it looks like feathers are growing out of you. And you reach up to like the side of your head, you can see like just like the sides of your hair have become sort of sprung up in these small down tufts of feathers, as if you became like slightly more bird-like.
I'm gonna look over at Loon and just
Burp door.
Burb door! Burb door!
Burp door!
I need fan out of this! I need fucking
As Luna would recall that the dude who made the potion made it from a very fast X-Beak.
That's
Oh
right.
my
Do
God.
that.
As
Your prime, Quell.
Swift Hollow, you have your quickened action. Do you want to use your reaction to move some distance, or are you just good where you are?
Am I sinking? Are we like sinking?
It seems
Is
like
this an
what you've
environmental
now stood in.
hazard?
It seems as if the ground has just become loose, and as you try to find your footing, it's hard to move in. It seems like the ground around you has become loose and might be considered difficult terrain.
Does it seem like the entire ground around here has?
Seems like as far as you can see, has become loose sand, no longer hardened, solid ground.
Everything Swift Hollow is pretty mobile.
Yes, ma'am.
Stop. Alright, sticking to our guns.
All right. So staying put.
Yep, staying.
Can I
Here.
set the amulet to autocast?
Mean just have it on all the time? Or what do you mean?
Yeah. So like
Not have
people
to shout
just,
it out every time.
Sure, it's
Yeah.
fine. You can say like you're constantly saying,
Yeah.
shouting things.
I'm
As
constantly
long as you're able
inspiring
to.
you.
That's
Yeah, as long
that's
as
the
I'm
idea
not-
behind the amulet.
Yeah.
As long as you're not drowning in sand.
Oh God. Well, all right, guys. I'm gonna be drowning in sand. Buckle up.
All right. So ending on your turn, Swift Hollow, now finally comes to your moment. What do you do?
As a bonus action, well, actually, as an item interaction, as a bonus action, the Hollow drinks her Stone Skin Potion.
All right. Glug, glug,
And
glug.
she's already drank liquid mercury, so how bad could this be?
Nice. It actually strangely tastes like it is coarse, almost like you're drinking like some sort of organic tonic someone had made for you. There's definitely some grit inside, some sediment within the liquid. And as you do, there's a moment of stiffness throughout your entire body before it suddenly seems to relax. but you do look down at your hands and the rest of your form. It almost seems like your pale white skin has gotten a slight sheen to it, as if it's almost like made of porcelain, but it is incredibly hard and incredibly durable as you gain the benefits of the Stone Skin spell for the next hour, I think, right? Or is it a minute?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, next hour.
Nice.
Good shit.
Ready to go. Swift Owl doesn't really see anything happening at the moment, but has a feeling that perhaps something's about to erupt. She will ready her action to shoot her crossbow.
All right. As Luna, you see Swift Hollow drinking her potion and readying her crossbow. Looking around, it seems like the ground has turned into this hard to move through sand all around you. What do you do?
For the time being, to see what you're fighting, and to prepare a firebolt at the first opponent that I see.
All right. Holding on to your magic. All right, holding on to your magic. As all around you, the sand has shifted in the spread, and oh, nice. The sand that you're sort of like starting to sift in suddenly seems to shift beneath your feet.
There we go.
But not in a single grand movement, I would say. You feel, for you, Tamarcom, the ground beneath your feet sort of like begins to go down and dip a moment. And yours, Swifthollow, and Persephone, Samantha, Luna, Cooler, all of you, it seems like the ground's pulling you down. No, it seems like the sand is slithering up your legs and going up along your body. And immediately you realize, oh shit, I can't stand here. I have to fight this, as I'm gonna need everyone to give me strength saving throws.
Hold on, everyone. If you all get D4s to them.
Ooh.
8.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
28!
Ooh.
20. Oh, Swift Hollow, no.
16.
Oof.
All right.
Oof.
As everyone but Swifthollow and Luna, you could feel the sand running up your body, but immediately reactionary, you rip yourself out of the ground, and it seems like the loose sand that was about to reach up to your waist at this point has instead been torn away and separated from you. But Swifthollow and Luna, both of you immediately get caught, and before you can truly pull away, the sand has already made its way up to your waist and has begun to pull you down into the ground, as it seems like you guys are being consumed by this great white sea.
Ooh.
You guys are restrained, and it'll take an action either by you or a non-restrained creature within 5 feet of you to try and break you free, either taking a strength check or a dexterity check. If you fail, the sand pulls you deeper, and it makes it harder to get out. As Kulor,
Oh dear.
it comes down to you. You can see your friends, now that you're faster, looks like Swifthollow and Luna are now sinking down into the sand.
So is it a strength check or an athletics check?
Strength check.
I will reach back and try to pull at Luna to get her up.
All right, give me that strength check. Ooh, perfect. How do you pull her out of the sand that she seems to be sinking inside of?
I just reach down, grab her by one arm, and just pull her up like you pull a toddler up. And just set her down.
With great strength, just popping you out of the sand, finally landing back on the ground, where it seems like the sand has reconvened itself. As you guys, or both of you, are now still standing on solid ground.
As I will move over to Swifthollow and try to yank her out.
We'll take an action.
Not an attack.
Yep.
Well, not an attack.
Basically takes your full action to try and, like, pull you out of the sinking sand.
Okay, well, I'll just go
shove
over
her
to
out of it.
anyway. I'll
Push
go
her in
over
deeper.
there and
Yeah, push her
I
in deeper.
will
Go away, Swifthollow.
enter my frontline fighting stance.
Nice. All right. As you're getting close to Swifthollow, you're still assuming your toughened stance, but, you know, you have the next few moments might be crucial. And crucial, it seems like they are, as the sand shifts once more. You can feel suddenly now the ground's no longer falling. It seems to be rising around you guys, and suddenly picking up as, yeah, I'm gonna say, Swifthollow, Persephone, Samantha, and Luna The ground suddenly begins to rise up further below you until you feel this sudden thing start breaking through the veil of sand. As I'm going to need you four to make me strength or dexterity saving throws, your choice.
D4s.
Oh, shit.
We're restrained, right?
You are restrained. You can either make your strength saving throw or a dex save with disadvantage.
Okay, I was thinking of the other one.
Yep.
Ah, 14.
Ooh. Alrighty. As it seems like now recently freed from your
God, I
hold,
wanted a
Persephone, strangely agile in this sand. It seems like it doesn't quite hold you back as it normally would. Quite content with the element earth. Able to find yourself able to pull mostly out of the way before this ground just seems to explode from beneath you. But Swift Hollow and Samantha, so Swift Hollow especially restrained within this confines, and Samantha suddenly, I guess, thrown off guard, suddenly the ground having to pull it beneath her. You guys feel this massive breach in the sand around you as this great, you think like maybe 5 foot in, almost 5 foot in radius, thick, scaly body come bursting out from the sand, toppling all of you guys, some of you able to stay on your feet, but the others being knocked off and knocked prone onto the ground as this long head shoots up out of the ground. It is covered in these iridescent scales as this long flap that runs along its neck seems to open wide into the spread hood as you guys find yourselves centered by the face of this great and terrible serpent.
Hey.
Sexiness.
As you find truly a great and horrible serpent presumed to be Pharaoh.
Look at this sexy
Hey,
ass.
But all of you guys will take, let's see, that's not right, that's hidden. There we go, boom. Ooh, mama.
Ooh.
As those who made their save, those who failed their save rather, will take a combination of 24 plus 27 equals 51 bludgeoning and piercing damage. As those who made their
So I take a
save,
quarter?
yeah, you take half of that.
Because
or
I
actually,
am, even though I'm
Well-
kind of restrained, I am pretty still evasive.
you know, that's pretty true. You're able to, how do you evade while you're being sunk into the
Oh
sand?
boy, as Swift Hollow being an expert escape artist, someone who, even if she's still restrained or grappled, she still finds ways to wiggle herself out, even in the most dire of situations. Using the shifting sand, she's able to get enough gaps, perhaps not to fully get out, but just enough to move her legs and move her body to shift her way out, not taking as much, just barely out of the way, but thankfully, additionally, her porcelain skin effectively also taking some of the brunt of that damage, as she's able to barely just get out of the way.
Nice, as you'll take half the damage from your evasion, but you'll take half the damage also from your stone skin. So that'd be 24, 12, 6 plus, what, 13, 7, so 13 damage total? Holy shit. As this thing bursts out of the ground, but you, Swift Hollow, even though you managed to evade most of it, you and Samantha are both knocked off your feet and knocked prone, whereas Persephone doof, and Luna doof, are shoved out of its space. But both Luna and Coolor, with your held attacks, you can try to strike at the serpent.
I was like, gonna try to shoot at it too. It's not like I have mega disadvantage. Because I did have a ready action.
That's true, you are prone on the ground, but you can shoot him with disadvantage.
I'm restrained too, so it's like third thing disadvantage doesn't stack.
Nice. Give me those shots, give me those shots.
Okay, no sneak attack because it is at disadvantage. Normal crossbow.
Ooh, as all of those attacks will just barely, last one will just barely hit, but all of them will connect as a combination of a swinging, sharpened sword, as well as a, ooh, nice, as well as a bolt of fire and a single bolt of crossbow steelness go flying out and striking this creature all at the same time, and immediately lets out this horrible hissing sound as all these bolts come clashing into its body.
Make sure you guys eat through your temporary HP.
As it will take,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
boom, boom. As it seems like your combination of attacks do a hearty amount of damage to this thing. as immediately it lands in its pit, sort of just rises in this place. You can see almost about 20 feet tall. Its head sort of rises out of the ground. The rest of its body sort of sunk down into this sifting sea of sand as it now turns around to look at you guys. And to the best of its ability, tries to pull itself away, but it seems unable to do so as this cut along its body has taken away its movement.
Hey.
As Samantha, prone on the ground, heavily damaged, what do you do?
Oh, that fucking hurt. I can return the favor in kind, though, as I will stand and use my action and my inspiration and call on my strongest magic and cast Constriction.
Alrighty. Give me that attack roll.
Snakes constricting
Inspiration,
snakes.
advantage, as I throw myself at Ferris and wrap myself around its head and neck, trying to crush it.
Ooh, as that will definitely connect. As your body wraps around this serpent, seeing these two winding serpents in the middle of this arena, Vin's calling out, "Oh my god!" And in that burst of smoke, the battle's begun! And now Samantha is already riding this great beast! As he takes, ooh, mama, decent amount of damage. As he is restrained as well.
As I will use my bonus action and try to crush it.
Alrighty. Trying to keep him crushed. It seems like the magic taking over. You feel like your body's starting to wrap around him tightly, but as you squeeze, there's almost this immediate, response against your strangely magical constriction, as it seems like this creature is quite resilient against the forces of magic, and gets to make his strength save. Ooh, as immediately your constricting body gets twisted and broken as this thing pushes you away, keeping it from squeezing it anymore. But he's still restrained.
Indeed. That is my turn. Just wrapped around this thing. You can see my snakes coming off of my head, flaring down angrily at this thing.
All right, as your body's wrapped around it, its head twisting and writhing, it seems like it's gotten out of your death grasp, but immediately in return, although its movements are limited, it does turn its head towards you, Samantha. And I guess in your strangely serpentine tongue, you can hear its voice sort of simple and ill-defined, but recognizable with your serpent tongue. As it's going to turn its head and try to bite at you with strange quickness, although with disadvantage. Achomp! Ooh, 28.
28's totally gonna hit.
These teeth sinking into your body, and you feel this hot flash of fire for a moment that just immediately fades. It seems like the piercing damage lands true, but the poison damage does not.
Your reign has ended a long time ago.
Alrighty. Is that your turn?
You hit me.
Alright. Make sure there's nothing else. As
Legendary
Tamarcon.
action to me.
That's right. As you see this creature wound up and some. Actually, doing a con save for that, baby.
Ah, that's right. Yeah.
Make sure he's still restrained.
Just need a 10. Probably can't fit.
Nice. Still able to hold on to your magic. As Tamarcon, you see this creature wrapped up by Samantha. It seems to have bitten into her, and she's not looking too good, but he is well, or she rather, is well restrained.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Is that anything? I hope this is not all you have, as I will charge forward. Hold on, Samantha. Just a bit more, as I'm going to jump up and try to grab on and climb this motherfucker, as I'm trying to climb up on the snake.
All right, give me athletics check. All right. As although his body is held still, she's still quite strong. Her body throws itself into you as you try to grab onto her. And I think it knocks you off.
Yeah, just barely, as I just start to fall back as I try to grab out with another hand to try to grab on this large hooded figure. As I'm gonna try it again, as the call out to my voice is going to ring in your ears, Samantha, as I'm also casting a bit of second level healing word. Aims to mend your wounds. Doesn't roll very well, but that's fine.
10 HP is better than 2.
16, a little bit better grip this time.
All right, let's see. This time, battering into you, still knocking you away.
I hit the ground hard as I pull the bar out as I just extend it to its 10-foot reach. It's more slippery than I expected. Alright, fine. Let's see if you can survive a bit. If that's me?
All right, the snake's still writhing, feeling this critter trying to clap onto his body, but it seemed like there's still one pressing foe. Pharaoh once again going to turn her head with a wicked expression. First blank and sort of emotionless like most snakes, but then the brow sort of furrows and these two bright blue eyes just stare hard into yours, Samantha, as it's going to try and bite one more time with another little bitty bite. Disadvantage. Yeah. Chomp. 27.
Oof.
I
think that'll do it.
Will connect, and the world starts to go dark for Samantha as she finds herself on the edge of consciousness, and as things look dark and grim, the sky without sun.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Samantha. As the darkness starts to pull back away, as her death ward activates.
Nice.
As thanks to Death Ward, I'm at 1 HP.
Nicely done, as you hear Finn call out, "She strikes again! The simian challenger goes to climb the beast as well, but seems to lack the great winding tail that Samantha has. But should she not fall? Have those teeth not ripped and torn enough? This snake is tougher than she looks!" As Persephone comes down to you, Samantha clinging to life. Seems like still restraining this creature in front of you. Cooler's ready another strike. Swiptalo's still on the ground. Luna's preparing her magic. What do you do, girl?
I'm going to start by trying to put a little distance between me and Pharaoh. Backing up just a bit.
All right. Seems
And
like its focus is all on Samantha.
Yeah, I'm remembering what Ramses said about making sure our friends are okay. Persephone is going to grab onto her crystal and start calling upon some fey magic energy as this ethereal tree starts to grow in Samantha's space. And it looks like not just a normal tree, but almost as if it's made of glittering crystal. As I'm going to cast Healing Spirit at 4th level.
All right. What's it looking when your I guess spirit manifests?
An ethereal tree grows out this twisting trunk, but once it stops growing, it looks like its leaves are like prisms, like clear quartz crystals, and the trunk itself is like the shape of a dryad. And she reaches down and touches Samantha and gives you a bit of healing and vitality.
At the start of my turn.
Yes, at the start of your turn.
Mm-hmm.
Rip me. So, don't die. I missed that line. Hobbs.
You want to change your turn?
No.
As your
also...
spirit manifests.
As my spirit manifests. And I'm going to take advantage and use my action to cast a Produce Flame at Pharaoh.
All right, he's restrained. Give me that shot with advantage. Hey, that will connect.
Huzzah!
As boom, this fire comes flying up behind and strikes him in the back. You can see it looks like as it hits him, the fire, just like Luna's firebolt, strikes into his scales. Some of them starting to peel away a bit with the heat and this like bubbling flesh beneath as it rides and hisses horribly.
Alright, and I only used 10 feet of my movement, so I am going to use the rest to position myself over here, where Coldor can hopefully block its direct line to me, and that's going to be my turn.
All right, as its head tries to look, see, it's like its head finally turns to face you, Persephone. As it goes to reach, and then immediately feels that squeeze again, and then he's gonna be coming back for Samantha. Still going for that bite. Hungry, hungry girl. Chomp. 25. Final third and divisive attack. As it seems like Miss Samantha.
Seeing the eyes glitter back in my direction. When it comes to the rest of you, don't let me come back and you're all dead. As the fangs come close and stone encapsulation comes around me.
Becomes a statue, incapacitated, as you land on the ground.
Thunk.
You don't have
Alrighty.
a Queen's Castle ability?
Queen's Castle.
As
Oh,
the magic
yeah.
that grants her your snaky tail fades, and Pharaoh is once again free.
I have like 100 temp HP minus 13.
No, if only you could be restrained. If she could have been restrained for one more time. That would have been nice.
Alrighty. As Swift Hollow on the ground, having somehow barely avoided a cacophony of damage, you find yourself prone, restrained, still sinking to the sand, and now next to you this massive serpent who is bearing down on it looks to be this now statuesque Samantha who has landed in the sand.
And Swift Hollow's sort of stuck prone. Man, for everyone else, this is probably an awful position, but for Swift Hollow, she starts slowly moving, sort of trying to move. Sort of like at the beach where you shift your feet around, you sort of dig it down. This time, Swift Hollow's trying to create movement for the sand to sort of rise up and then create more footholds as she uses half of her speed to get out from being prone. She, in one movement, additionally abandons her crossbow, just dropping it on the ground. Prone as she's doing this movement, trying to get her legs unstuck just enough that, with a bonus action, with advantage, she's going to attempt to escape this restrained condition.
As technically you would have to escape the restraint first before you get up, because you're prone on the ground,
because I
speed
don't
is 0.
benefit from...
Yeah.
Right.
You're basically on your back
You are
now sinking into
correct.
quicksand, so you have to get out of the
I'm on my
quicksand before you
back.
can
So yeah,
stand up.
Swift Hollow's basically just doing her weird acrobatic movements to sort of loosen herself up before she can do one grand sort of kip up. As... Yeah, 21.
Hey, that'll do it! As you're able to slip inside yourself out of the tight hole the sand has gotten onto you. As you're now prone on the ground, but free of the sand.
And Swift Hollow quickly gets back up, and... Can I still attack in her space? Or do I move?
Technically you can, because she is two sizes larger than you. But it's still in her space, so she's gonna give you some good old-fashioned disadvantage. Because you're right next to a big bad boy.
No, I dropped my crossbow. As I dropped my crossbow, and then Swift Hollow's sort of magical daggers, her signature weapon, Birds of a Feather, sort of calling upon its linked fates, and even more so, her murderous intention to just fucking kill this thing. Having her dual daggers, she's gonna try to do a dance, sort of this synchronized dance in an elven way, just dancing around with her dual daggers, slicing twice with only one attack. As... No advantage, unfortunately.
Alright, give me that stibbity stab. Ooh!
Oh,
Mamma
Make it back up.
mia. Make attack.
Sneak attack.
Alright, Xander.
As you see... Yeah, as you see Swift Hollow, as you see in one movement, she slashes out with one and then quickly spins around slashing with the other, and then feeling the momentum of her strikes, knowing that she could probably take advantage, she sort of moves over here. She slashes 2 more times, each one more grievous than the next. She's just cut into this thing 4 times.
Nice. As you
critically
slice
hit.
and rip and tear into this creature, you can see your daggers ripping into its flesh. It lets out this horrible call and pain. And it seems like you are just fucking barreling in. Actually, hold on. There we go. Fucking barreling into this dude's body, tearing and ripping through this serpent as blood is now spilling out across the sand. And it seems like it's just
As everyone just sees on Swift Hollow, there is no expression on Swift Hollow's face. It's like the first time the party met her. There's no emotion. There is only death. As that's Swift Hollow's turn.
All right, you can see this creature writhing in place as the ground around it begins to shake a little bit, but it seems like its lower body still stuck in this sand is now just swishing to and fro as if it's almost like either trying to get itself free or something. Kular is seeming to stuck it in place as Luna comes to you. This creature is still barely up on its haunches, I guess. Samantha, now a statue in front of you.
Not being healer can't really help Samantha as being able to take out a dagger just in anticipation as she snaps her fingers and summons her trusty hound right next to her. And so I roll initiative for him.
Okay. Nice.
And then she's going to put her hands on the ground as the white sand around them seems to darken ever so slightly as she will cast Shadow World around her.
Ooh.
Taking control of her sand as I will attempt to use the first ability, Tendrils, to make her restrained. She needs a strength saving throw at normal because my hound is right next to her.
Oh shit! As it seems like her magical power is being. What does it look like when your hound is empowering your magic? I guess maybe just weakening your enemy. What does that look like?
Yeah, as the tendril seems to start to wrap around the creature, she thinks that she can get away, but the hound spikes seem to just form from his body and stab into this creature in several places to remove its abilities to move as swiftly as it believes it can.
Nice. As it tries to pull away, these spikes seem to surround it, trying to grasp hold of its body. Let's see. Ooh, that's GM layer. Why on GM layer? Ooh, as it pulls and twists, and this sand, these tendrils made to use to hold it still, immediately shatter against its form as it twists and throws himself off its body.
That's fine. That's my turn.
All right. As all around you can see this creature like writhing in place as suddenly it lets out this horrible, dreaded hissing sound. As it seems like the world around you has suddenly shifted once more, and those who felt the ground pulling them into its depths now feel it shifting somewhere else. As, yeah, look at that. I'm going to need everyone, including the hound, to give me a dexterity saving throw.
I don't have her blessed anymore.
No longer blessed.
No, we do not.
Oof.
Oh!
Ooh.
One in 20.
And a 20. Na. Oh, y'all, net 20s. Interesting with Samantha being a statue. Okay, that's fine. As it seems like the ground beneath, I think all of you made it. Do you have advantage on yours, Tamarcon?
Nah.
Okay, then I guess everyone but Tamarcon. Actually, Samantha would just be... No, Samantha wouldn't make it. Everyone but the Hound, Tamarcon, and Samantha. Where you find the ground shifting beneath your feet. It almost seems like it becomes too much to stand, but then you sort of like catch yourself and balance yourself. And this wave of sand that suddenly pulls you away from Pharaoh seems to just glide underneath your feet, almost like you're surfing on the sand itself. As those who failed their saves of this shifting tide find themselves moved away from Pharaoh 15 feet and knocked prone. As you see the hounds slide away, statue of Samantha. As
No, you're trying to escape.
this creature now, you find the ground beneath your feet trying to pull you away, but thankfully, with your strange new nimbleness, you stand true. What do you do?
I will continue to go to my front line stance as I just seem to just whip the sand all up around me. Almost, it seems to be a bit of a cyclone within the sand as it's just whirling higher and higher and faster as bits of it start to chip away at the snake's eyes. I'm sure it's used to it as I swing out.
Ooh. As those first two strikes will connect, you cut into its body, ripping into its hide. Second strike regains Ooh, ripping into its hide. You can see this thing's barely hanging on. You've cut into this thing's flesh so deep, Coolor. You can see half its mass basically holding itself together. This thing was almost cut through, but as that sword strikes that final spot, it catches. And although it writhes in pain, it's still very much alive.
I see that face, John.
Get us the face
Do
too.
it.
Yeah, but
Short rest character. Fight is solidarity.
fine.
Plus, if there is no
Alrighty.
phase 2, you get the kill. I mean, come on now.
Hey, you only get 2 extra attacks, but those will do it. That's how do you want to cut off Pharaoh's head?
As the sand just whips around, it almost just kind of lifts Quildor up, / brings the serpent down as the sword just cuts once right underneath it to the left, and then cuts again underneath it to the right, bringing the crux of it and just severing the snake's head.
As finally, with this final strike cut, you see this head of the serpent open its mouth to roar before this gout of blood comes spilling out across the sand in front of you, Quildor, as this head comes falling. Timber, timber, timber. His neck is sort of writhing, and you can see inside his blood and viscera just sort of gooing out from the inside. And as it falls with this, what would be a thundering thud, but it seemed to land on this nice pillow of soft sand, the crowd goes quiet for a moment before suddenly they just erupt in excitement as Vin calls out, "By the gods! In mere seconds, the valiant vanguard have slain Pharaoh! I think this is a new record! I think this is unprecedented! What do you make of this, Jedi?" As the Wizard King stands up again, clapping his hands excitedly.
Did that feel a little too easy to anyone else?
Oh boy.
Well, dude.
Well done, Sand Whisperer. Your blade is sharp, and your senses are keen. You pressed yourself hard to claim the head of this beast. So tell me, what will you do about the rest of them?
Indeed.
Wait,
There we go.
Begins
No.
all away, and the ground around you begins to rumble. As the sand begins to part, this neck that you have severed begins to boil, still bleeding, until eventually something begins to sprout from inside. You see teeth, long and winding like fangs, both for serrating and for injecting poison, as it begins to bubble and bulge until a long, winding, thin, and almost sickly-looking head sprouts out from inside. And from the remaining shaking earth, all of you, I'm going to need a dexterity saving throw.
oh boy.
I hope mine will still be memorable after this. You
Woof.
butt.
Woof.
You fucking butt, Omen.
As the ground shifts around you, let's see. Persephone, barely able, actually, yeah. Luna, Persephone, and Swift Hollow. All of you are knocked prone. Swift Hollow, Coolor, and Persephone, or Luna, are all shoved, and I guess about shoved, just outside the edge of what seems to be this now rising mound, as now joining this massive bleeding stump is this wide set body, almost crocodilian in shape. Although, unlike these lizards that it seems to model, though their arms are stout and held at like perpendicular angles to their body, it almost seems like there's only 2 legs as it pulls itself up, where there should be back legs. They seem to be pulled down into a single long, winding, triangular tail that sinks into the sand. But bursting forth, along with this new sickly head, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heads of the
Hey, look at that.
Oh!
as the true form of Pharaoh has been revealed.
I'm so excited.
As I swing.
I think you didn't get that, Ashes. Yeah, you did. As that
gave me
thing
my
will rise in
space.
front of you. That's true. As your blade seems to cut into this thing's side. As you will do good amount of damage.
So I tell it to stay still.
What
one said it had more than one head. No one said it had more than one head.
He said more teeth would come, Persephone, and more teeth have appeared.
All right, is that your turn, Quildor?
Yep.
All right, this creature being cut on the side, one of the legs that pulled us up out of the sand, being sliced by this magic edge. His body falters for a second, and then immediately these heads all turn to face the world around it. As, let's see, yep, you're gonna have Quildor, Persephone, Swift Hollow, Tamarkan, and Luna. Each one of you is getting an attack. As each one of these heads is coming out and sort of darting out, looks like pretty far from its body to try and snag ya. First one coming at Quildor. Bah! Well, that's GM. Good thing that's GM. Bah! 26.
That will connect.
All right, as these teeth come sinking in, as it able to withstand most of it, but a bit of this burning feeling takes over as your temporary hit points will vanish, but the 3 poison damage will tick you over. Next bite coming after Persephone. Ka-chomp. 16. Ooh. Able to raise your shield in time as this massive head comes barreling into your body. Just close thing to hitting you, but not quite enough. Another one coming after you. Swift Hollow. Ka-chomp. 15. How do you dodge it?
No, as it's coming after her, Swift Hollow is just in full trance, with her killer instinct active, just capitalizing on that momentum of getting a crit. She's able to easily just dodge out of the way, seeing her hunted prey's movements fly before it even knows hers. She just dodges out of the way.
Dodging out of the way. Next attack coming after you, Mr. Tamarkan, with a little bit
No! Strike me!
Hot jump. 29.
Oh, he struck you.
That'll certainly connect. I just bring my bar up and it just crunches me into the ground. That's a decent
Oh,
amount.
I'll get one more attack on Persephone because I forgot she is prone.
Oh yeah.
As one bite comes through.
Alright.
Ah, 27. Ooh.
That one.
Oh yeah, that's gonna hurt.
As
yeah.
you come barreling into your body with great weight, as you'll take 11 piercing damage as these combination of fangs and teeth sink into you, as well as that hot, stinging pain of poison. And the last bite will come down at Mrs. Luna. Kerchomp, prone as well. Kerchomp. 16.
I really didn't want to do this. I'll cast shield with my last second level spell slot. That's the
Oh,
sand
pouring out. Oh, go ahead.
wrapped around my body.
Nice. This poof, strikes into you, but not able to make true purchase. As this creature seems unable to move in this area, sort of lodged where he is, comes down to the hound, now knocked prone away, but seems like his prey is still very much alive, as is the hound.
As the hound will stand back up and lunge at this creature.
All right, just barely able to make it to him with this difficult terrain. As the blade swings, strikes into this hard, scaly armor and just clatters off the side.
That's a turn.
All right, as you do that, one of these heads comes reaching out to try and bite the hound. No, disadvantage. There we go. Cha-chomp! 23.
Wow, that'll hit. Stop. That's not nice.
As sinks down and is immediately, weirdly injecting venom into this weird shadow monster, but it seems like they take a great and hearty bite out of his body. Alrighty. As Samantha on the prone on the ground, I think you end your turn and then you burst out of your statue.
Indeed, my yeah, until the end of my where the hell is it? Yeah, at the end of my next turn, so I just like oh, that is not at all what I fucking meant. As I am prone on the ground.
All right, as another set of teeth are coming after the hound, having tried to strike him, just trying to tear this dude apart. Ka-chomp!
Oh, he's just a boy.
16.
Does that hit? Oh, that hits.
That's a total of 19 damage. that enough? Ooh, it looks like enough. As he seems to bite down and seems to swallow the remains before it just disperses the shadowy magic from its mouth. But now there is one less target on the field. As Tamar Khan, this beast is now standing tall before you. As you are prone on the ground, what do you do?
Stand up from my prone position. It's good to see that the fight has finally started. As I am going to... The wind around my feet starts to pick up with a gust of wind all around me as my movements start to pulse as I run over towards this creature next to Samantha. As I actually grab out towards Samantha, twist my body, and kick into one of these heads looking in my direction, just trying to strike out at it as I'm putting myself in between it and Samantha. Just a normal little unarmed strike, 25.
Ooh, that'll connect.
Kicking into it as I grab Samantha up off the ground. There's not the place for you to be, it seems, as I push my way forward, as I heave her up and start to take her as far out of the circle as I can with my my bonus action dash. I've got 60 feet of movement. I used 10 to get to her, so I got 50 left. I am going 25 feet.
It is difficult terrain, my friend. Just keep in mind.
Oh, it is difficult terrain?
You're running through sand.
I'm gonna get 13 feet or so as I just plop her basically on the outside of the circle as I wheel around in front of her with my bar up in a defensive position. Now the fight can really begin. That's my turn.
Alright, as you pull away, you now feel this sort of stinging sensation in your hand as after that quick, decisive blow against its body, you landed a hard punch, but it seems like this thing is quite hardy against your normal fist. And in retaliation, one of the heads you punch shakes its head and then looks towards you and goes for a bite.
As it bites in, I slam my fists together as mist explode out of my wrist guards as I use my Gilded Guard.
Alrighty, let's see. Ooh!
Nice.
As the mist misses you completely.
As it misses me completely, ki surges up my arm and the bar strikes against its neck, just the full length of it, crunching into it. Hopefully, single fist. Oh, balls, just a 15.
Ooh, as you swing that bar, this time a harder weapon with greater weight, you see the head sort of curl the moment it strikes into the side of its winding neck. You make like a quick connection, but it's not enough to. It seems like I've dampened the blow and not taking any damage.
Was able to get Samantha back up to her feet.
I would say it would take another like lifting action to do that. You can grab onto her and then you can go like I take an action to like unshove her.
Yeah.
Okay. Either cost half movement or you gotta use that anti-shove action. That's my ruling.
Yeah. Alright, that's me.
Alrighty. As Persephone, you're bitten by this creature on the ground, and one of these heads still seems to circle down just above you, ready for another strike.
I am going to use half my movement to get up and clinging onto my shield, I'm going to try to back away again, further back.
Alright, let's see.
Try to bite
Ooh, as it seems like you get further and further away. Since the ground beneath you is quite easy to run on, as you are adept at moving around in this earthen terrain. And it seems like you get quite some distance before finally, once you get past maybe the 15-foot mark, its head coils back and tries to bite you. Kerchomp. Ooh,
No.
but just a little too quick. It snaps the air just as you pull away from it.
Wasn't expecting me to be so quick in the sand. Okay, my little tree isn't working out over there. So Persephone is going to grab onto her crystal, and she is going to call out into... My friends beyond the veil, I call for your aid. Bring me beasts whom can take to the skies as we face this titan of the sands, as I am going to conjure animals. And I'm going for 8 creatures of 4th rating. 1/4. I want
1/4 rating? Okay.
Yes. I want one of them next to me, and the rest I want grouped here And here, trying to split its attention.
All right, as you're summoning, let's see. Or are they one more time? So I was reading something.
They are. She said, "Bring me beasts who can take to the skies as we face this Titan of the sands."
One next to her, and then one grouping between Coldor and Luna, and one grouping between Swift Hollow and Luna.
Okay. As the air around you begins to shift, you can see a sudden wind blow in from what looks to be the east. As it blows over you guys, sand lifts up, begins to swirl. As inside, you can see it looks like these beasts, dark brown feathers. And eventually, once they burst through the sand, you can see some hints of tan upon them. Look like these giant desert birds, although they're much more downy than you'd expect, with like gleams of white on their stomachs and faces, similar to the owls you've seen in Cradle Keep. As poof, a number of these beasts, once it wants to do that, once it wants to play ball, once it wants to say, "Hey, buddy," sponsored by Rule 20.
Come on, Roll 20, get it.
Oof.
Oh, buddy. Come on.
I believe in you, owls. Or whatever you are. Maybe geese. I don't know. Last time it was geese.
Please be Canadian geese.
Oh god.
Chaotic evil
Fucking
honk,
cobra
honk,
chickens!
Not
One
the geese
second.
again.
Suddenly,
Do you
we start
find
to lose all
yourself
detail in
facing
our face
off?
as the only discernible features our nose.
Against a horrible
second.
monster. Once a week, maybe even twice if you're lucky. Well, there's a wonderful place where you can do that, even now, at a distance, over the internet. It's called Roll20. A virtual tabletop that sponsors Lionhead Gaming. Utilize it
That's
to play
right.
I'm gonna
D&D.
cheat real quick.
And if you're
we're gonna-
bored with just the normal monster manual creatures, you can find other things like Tomb of Beast or possibly Cobalt Presses in the marketplace on Roll20. Because there's nothing better than throwing crazy abominations at your players if you're a DM. Because, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm just gonna
that's
do
how
this.
we roll.
All right.
There it is. It loaded.
This is how we roll.
Had to cheat, but I got it. As these creatures seem to be poof poof. And then boof boof, was it?
It was like split, like straight line, but that works too.
Okay, so like 3-3 on this side.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Poof, as out of the sand seems to be these desert owls. That's big wings start to blow up some more sand around it. That some catch the head and attention of it looks to be Pharaoh.
And then I am going to mount this one.
Yeah, you have enough movement. You only move 20 feet. Yep, you got it.
Thank you.
As this creature now lands on the ground, seems it allows you up onto its back.
Okay. And let's go.
I don't know if I have the movement for it to fly
You,
off
you
the
can.
ground.
You. It is under your control, so you
Yes.
can movement. You have moved 40 feet so far. You've used 40 feet. So however flat you have left, it's got 60. So if you want to fly, you can fly 20 more feet.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up 20 feet.
All right. As you will go up, poof, 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 20 feet into the air. You should have controlled it too.
Awesome. I do. Awesome. Yeah, that's my turn.
All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3. All righty. As Swift Hollow, you've been knocked away from this great creature that one of the heads have been slain, torn to pieces by a combination of your blade and Swift and Quildor's. But now it seems there are 5 more. What do you do?
Oh god. Do owls keep their flyby trait when they're mounted?
If they move, I think they would. Yeah.
According to the music, it would not. I mean,
I'm gonna assume they do because they're really good at flying.
Yeah, as one of the snakeheads, the same barrow head that struck out at me, Swift Hollow, definitely dodging out of its way and capitalizing that it's still next to Swift Hollow. She strikes out at it, capitalizing on the dangerous momentum she had from striking out 4 times. She does have advantage.
Are they gonna roll their own initiative or are they gonna be on mine?
You can roll this real quick.
I keep forgetting to put out Zig attack.
There they are. Good thing we got to the top of initiative. Bye. Ooh, a 24 will connect, though. I should do 7 plus 22. That'll be 13.
Nice.
No, 29. Nice! As you carve deep in one of these heads, as blood sprays down across the sand. It seems like it took a hearty blow. Some of the scales, or some of the skin between its scales is especially soft. Nice. As it will have that and that. That. As you carve deep into one of these heads.
Mounts the one that's right next there.
All right, spending half your movement to climb on this thing.
Jumping up on there. And sort of patting it on, I guess Swithal is sort of like near the top, near its neck where it connects to its wings, and Swithal just sort of like taps the top of its wings. Let's go.
All right, you've used 20 feet to get there because it is difficult terrain. And you mounted for 20 feet, so should have 20 feet to fly if you want to fly.
Alright, let's fly away. 20 feet. I guess.
Away or up?
How much total flight speed does it have?
Seems like it moves quite fast. You might even know 60 feet.
Ah, okay. I should have remembered this from the first time we had giant owls, who consequently got shot down. Poor giant owl. And yeah, Swithal moves 10 feet sort of this direction and then 10 feet up. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense. That's actually not the Pythagorean theorem. Whatever, 20 feet diagonally. Away from the beast.
Away from the beast. Just moving away from him?
Yeah.
Alright, as that head is going to try and bite you.
Darn. Wait a
seems
second,
like-
this is how Magic Combat works.
Ha 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 ha. As this head seems like one head seems to be focused on Persephone, trying to snap at her. This other one's focused on you, trying to get a bite out. Let's see, chomping.
No.
Chomp. Ka-chomp. 23. Ooh.
No damage.
As it seems to just
I will
bite into you, but only its teeth seem to graze your edge. You don't take a particular lot amount of damage.
So I'll also burn my uncanny dodge, just with how also gets it to sort of chomp on her forearm, less something more essential, like perhaps her hand or even up close, but just something to interpose himself as half.
Yep, 4 plus 2. Alright. Is that your turn, so follow? Should be 4 plus 2. So 6 total damage. Is that? Oh, actually, technically half of that because you are quite a resilient poison. Yeah, so 1, so 5. Is that your turn, Switalo?
That is.
All
Can I
right.
attempt to hide on the giant owl?
No.
Go giant owl.
It's a little
cover.
As Luna, prone on the ground next to this giant snake, seemed to try to take a bite out of you, but you were surrounded by magic that now fades, and it seems like your hound has been eaten. What do you do?
Right on this position, Luna's going to stand up, and I can only really take one step back. But from the grave, Luna will summon another hound
Hey.
for all the fodder.
Alrighty.
Those actions. I love it.
We'll sort real quick as another hound enters the fray. Is it the same looking hound, or is it just a different hound?
Basically the same hound every turn.
Okay, sweet.
As with her action, the sand that she now controls starts to wrap around the hound and grow even larger and just scarier as I will attempt to use one of the other abilities of my Shadow World to give it some terrible nightmares.
Ooh.
At normal.
It seems like with the hound helping, empowering your shadow magic, it has to try and fight off what seems to be nightmares. Nice. All right, let's see. Ooh, as it seems like these heads start to shiver and shake for a moment as their eyes seem to be clouded over with darkness as they seem to become more ferocious, but seemingly shaken in the spot.
That will be my turn.
Alrighty, let's see. Oh shit! Hold on. Okay, as he sees these characters around him now, more beasts. Some of them taken to the air, some of them still just you're 10 feet here. That's right. Still taking off to the ground. Some of them still on the earth, waiting for people. It seems like to take flight. This beast turns all of its heads around, and it seems like a moment of panic, and then immediately shivers as the sand around you once again begins to shift. As I'm going to need everyone, I guess everyone on the ground around you. Ooh, yeah, everyone on the ground around to make some strength saving throws. As again, the sand beneath you seems to be rising up to claim hold of you.
Flying types are not affected by ground type moves.
True. Oh, Samantha saves tonight. Oof.
Oh my gosh.
Oof.
Everybody!
If only Tamarkan had drank the potion.
All right. As gotta make some saves for these boys. Let's do bottom left to top right. So we'll do some strength saves. 1, 2, 3, 4.
They came in on the
5,
ground?
6. Huh?
That's where
Hey, land on the ground to be mounted.
Yeah.
As this creature down here immediately
jeez.
pulls itself wings free and sprays sand all around it, fortunately making its way away from the sand. As these two down here, unfortunately, are going to be wrapped up in sand and begin to get pulled down deep into the depths of what seems to be a consuming desert. As you will be restrained. Look at that. Perfect bookend. As those who do not make their 16 DC strength save will find themselves pulled and restrained into the earth. Alrighty. As that includes Luna. But unfortunately, it seems like the Hound, this new Hound, stronger, better than the last model, still stands strong, slicing away at the sand and remaining unrestrained. As Quildor, it comes down to you.
As I see this creature, I'm going to shift a little bit. As I shift, the sand just around me seems to just coalesce as my shield and sword swing out, just shooting sand upwards, almost making myself larger than it appears as I enter my fighting spirit.
Nice.
As I stare down this creature, as the sword just whips out with speed, just after this creature, swinging out at its neck, and then going in
Ooh.
down at one of its
That'll
legs,
connect.
and then jumping up and swinging around, slicing its second neck.
Ooh, as you're jumping and slicing and cutting this creature, nice. As your blade sinks and dances through this thing's body, Quildor. Eventually, one of your cuts seems to catch down across the neck, doing good amount of damage. Ooh, mama. You and nope, not that. You and you. You see that final cut seems to slit and stab into its neck, as eventually the head lets out this horrible belch of blood and then falls almost halfway off before it seems like the rest of the flesh seems to slough, as it seems like with your swift and powerful blows, you've severed this thing's head from its body.
Okay, this is the point where like another 3 heads pop out, and everyone's like, "Oh, come on, Quildor. That'll be my turn."
All right. As this thing falls down, you can see his
Stop with
head,
the hand slicing thing.
head falls
Got another
hard
thing I
onto the
do.
sand and sprays blood all across the sand. In response, it lets out this terrible hiss, just once again calling out to the arena. As now only a total of 4 heads will be reaching down to bite out some creatures. The closest ones, it will be going after one to an owl, going after a big chippity chomp with a bite, ka-chomp. Ooh, but just burying its head into the sand, completely missing due to the shaking, horrible pain. Another bite coming up at you, Quildor.
Disadvantage. Is it
oops, that's you get back to where you were.
Good old initiative, yes.
Disadvantage against Quildor?
right from Luna?
Fight me.
Oh shit, that's right. As he's fucking scared. As he's going to try and bite down at Coolor, just seemingly in a panic. Good chomp, 14, not quite doing it.
Not today.
and these other 2 heads just wild and panicked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fuck. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Bring it.
Yeah. He's gonna be tracking at everything surrounding him, so we're gonna have 1 more bite coming here at this owl, and 1 more bite coming down at this new, apparently fearsome-looking warrior guy who's standing in front of the source of his fear. As you're gonna have this owl being bit normally, ka-chomp. Ooh. As he will take 18 damage as he bites down hard and shakes in this owl. Let's go. It's still on the ground, but doesn't disperse, as it seems like it's barely alive. And the last bite coming down with disadvantage against the hound. Chomp. Ooh, 19.
Stop, he's just a young boy.
Biting into his body
Bran,
and
no!
shaking, as he will, take a hearty amount of damage. But still up. As this beast, you can see him now trying to slither and slide, trying to pull himself away from all these creatures, bit by bit. As he'll try to make it about here if anyone within reach
I'm gonna
got a poke on him.
swing at him.
Yeah, you can do that. Your Sentinel feature, use your action.
No, hold on, get back. Sometimes you have to use the rest row.
Ooh.
Can he tell that's a good question.
He might, as that will definitely connect. Both those attacks will strike 2 swords, swinging out through the air.
As he tries to move, he gets stuck to the ground again.
He actually does not, unfortunately, because it's an opportunity attack. Nope, your thing is not an opportunity attack, my friend. If he's moving within your range, it's just a strike.
Oh, I thought he moved away from me.
Unfortunately so, as he will take that hearty damage, as well as the blow from, looks like Luna, the Knight's great sword, slicing, a combination of knights with their swords, cutting to this beast.
You can do
But,
it.
let's see, it's not magical, you're just fucking throwing him off your feet. Let's see if you can do it! Let's see! Oh, close though! So close! It seems like in this panic state, the sword almost cuts up his body and his leg sort of catches in the air for a moment. And you can see all this bouquet of heads tilting backwards before the weight of them throws themselves forward. As he's going to start pulling himself, at least to the edge here. Nice. And as he does, you can see his legs starting to sink and sift down into the earth as about half his body starts to get submerged into the ground until only his head seems to appear from beyond. But as so, you can see this stump writhing against his neck once again. Seems like a cacophony of teeth begin to stick out, and then they seem to fan out greatly before... Seems like no longer a sickened head, instead 2 long, winding, healthy heads rip their way out of the wound as this thing gains not only a fallen head, but instead in its place, a new head rises, as there are now 6 heads on this great pharaoh. He's about down in the earth, as that will be his turn. As Samantha, now stuck on the ground, prone. Seems like the sand is trying to consume you. What do you do?
The sand is my ally. I fear nothing from it. Though pulling myself up as much as I can, just trying to see what's going on all around me. Okay. Well, I know I said we all need to stick together, but these wounds really hurt. Just know I'm always with you. Alright? As you just see, just shadow envelop me entirely in the ground as... And I'm gone. As... Gotta keep it in your pocket till the final fight. It's your boy... Dimension Door.
Yeah, using your cape of the mountebank.
Using, the Cape of the Mountainback, best cape in the game, would not sell it for any other cape, except for Cane to the Mountainback 2. And just picturing in my mind's eye, pretty good at spatial awareness, Samantha is going to just poof herself about 4 feet above this pillar here.
All right. Landing prone on this pillar. You're big enough to support your body. You're sort of like your shoulders and up and maybe down by like your knees and lower, sort of dangling off the edges, but it's enough for you to lay on without worrying to fall off unless someone starts shaking pillars.
Alright. So just try to reconstitute myself as... I don't think there's anything I need to cast as a bonus action. No, so I will use my bonus action, though it won't really matter, to call on my aspect of the serpent, just buff my defenses, and just sort of take a knee like a marksman or a sniper would with a gun, just on top of this pillar, standing up so I'm not technically prone.
All right, as you find yourself standing on top of this pillar. Again, plenty of room to stand. Unless something starts shaking this pillar, you shouldn't have to worry about your balance.
Hey, I gotta work with what I know. If something's gonna start shaking the pillar, I mean, I got 1 HP. I can take a nap. It's on you.
All right, as you can see this thing pulling itself back, almost retreating into the sand, you can see its body start to shift and shake to and fro as sand starts to actually work and ride its way up its body until it seems to be coating its scales, its head, even several of these wide, basically, I guess, imposing hoods. And then, Luna, you could feel your grip on this thing, your magic holding onto it, begin to become contested for a moment. And then this hardened layer of sand cracks and then shatters like dried porcelain skin. And you can see from behind what was once a shaken creature is now a steadfast and resolute glare, as this thing seems to, with magical ability, shed its skin, pulling away all the impurities and seemingly magical and debilitating effects from its form, as it no longer looks very scared. As Tamarkan, stuck in the sand, there's some owls next to you, also stuck in the sand. What do you do?
Other than Zoe, so I reach down into my pocket, pull out a potion. Let's see if this does the trick. As I down the enlargement.
All right. You feel the ground around you beginning to shift in shape. It seems like it's about to squeeze until it starts to pull. As once again, you are no longer a simple-sized medium monkey man. That's not right. You find yourself a large monkey man.
It's getting large all of a sudden enough to break me free from the sand.
Unfortunately, the sand still contains large creatures.
Alright, as I just try to break my legs free with my newfound strength. Sort of, kinda, because it's just a strength save. Got advantage.
Check.
Hey!
Ooh! As just with this newfound might, sand bursts around you, and you are now free.
Do you need some help?
Yes, please. Why is that a question?
As I will start to make my way over to her, but that's my turn.
Alrighty. Charging your way through the sand, this creature now free from its confines is now going to turn its head down towards you, Mr. Quildor, with certain determination in its eye, trying to bite you. Ka-chomp! Ooh, 24? Don't think? You're... Ooh. Go on.
You're hasted.
Yeah, but that would still hit. That would meet the AC. No, I'll let him hit me.
As this massive mouth comes swinging down, larger than your shield can block, and strikes down, dealing 12 piercing damage as the things sink into your body, and a hot shot of poison running through your veins as it begins to burn inside. As the Hound, you've been struck, fortunately able to keep your footing in this hard-to-move area and didn't sink to the sand. What do you do?
It is going to run at this guy as fast as it can. I don't know if that's within range to make an attack.
That seems like in range. If you want to go run up and swipe him.
Yeah, I'm stupid. I forgot that the Hound is technically a direwolf, so he has hot tackings.
Oh yeah! Get that attack, baby. Ooh, as the sword swings, it cuts up into the side, but it seems to get stopped by the scales, just barely too hard for your blade not to penetrate.
That's its turn.
All right, poor hound. As Persephone, you see the ground once again shift, and many of your allies, including the new owls, were sunk into the sand. Many of them are stuck, one of them is dying, but a couple of them seem to be free. Especially the ones you're on and Swift Hollow is on. What do you do?
Okay.
I am going to. How tall is Pharaoh? Because I know I'm 20 feet up.
Pharaoh, with all of her squares, is about 25 feet tall.
25 feet tall.
Body's about like 10 feet. These heads on top are about 15 foot long. He's a big girl.
I'm gonna hold out my hand and let rose petals fly from them and turn into flames to attack her with my produce flame.
Ooh, as that will connect, as one of the heads starts to follow you, bolt of fire comes flying and strikes and spreads across her body, as immediately you see her recoil. Ah! As again, where the fire strikes between the plates, you can see her flesh boiling and bubbling inside.
Oh, she doesn't like that very much, does she? Okay.
So, thank you, Nick. I am going to have my owl. I don't think owls need to disengage because they don't provoke opportunity. Oh, that's to not get hit later. Or is it dodge?
Yeah.
I don't remember which one.
Basically,
Okay.
It doesn't provoke opportunity attacks when it flies away from bad guys.
Yeah. Okay, so I am going to use some of its fly speed to go over here, away from it. Luna,
Okay.
do you want an owl?
Look at my position. Probably.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell the owls that I'm going to tell all of my owls to take to the skies, whether that means they get themselves out and fly or they just shoot up. But this one, I look over at it and I tell it, go to Luna's aid.
Okay.
Yes, you.
And that's going to be my turn.
All right, these owls heeding your call. This one's going to fly down here, landing right next to Luna. Just, you see it like lowers itself down, trying to peck and pry at the sand around you, Luna. Although it looks like, let's see, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. These guys are going to try and make themselves go high as they can, but they're stuck in the sand, so they got to make some saves. Not too strong, but they can certainly try to pull themselves out with a little bit of nimbleness. But if they fail, it's going to be a lot harder to get out. As first two on the left. Woo! Ooh, this one starts to wave its wings, and you see as it flaps hard, the sand starts to surround it more as it sinks deeper. Next one. Ooh, just barely so close, but not enough. As its wings start to flap more sand, and it too begins to sink. Top right two. Gotta make some sand. Boom, ooh, as well as sinking. All of them seem to be going deeper, consumed by the desert, as it seems like these guys are not particularly skilled enough to pull themselves out, as they are now especially stuck in the sand. But this one is going to go high. How did you say? As high as it can?
I told it to take to the skies. Can I still
All
tell
right.
it to attack? Or
Let me
not?
see how that spell works. Ba. Is it on your turn, or is it just whatever? When can you command these
Give it-
things?
I think I can command it no action on my part.
Ba. Nice.
Yeah, any verbal commands that you issue to them, no action required by you.
Okay. And it's going to take up to the sky about 40-ish feet. And you're commanding him to attack? Scrap! He flies up into the face of Pharaoh, a brave new challenger. As he going to attack? Hey, yeah! Ooh, as you talon catch him to the side, grabbing onto scales and peeling some off its body. As it takes, 9 slashing damage. Good on you, little guy.
I'm proud
As-
of you.
As one of the heads immediately turns and snarls at it. As it seems like that's their turn. Swift Hollow, now on your flying owl. It seems like your group is slowly starting to disperse as this thing has pulled itself closer towards you. One of the heads are now aimed in your direction. What do you do? As you are basically, technically, this thing is still a bit higher than you because you're about 10 feet up, but he's like 25 feet tall. So he's still looking down at you.
And then you're just planning to move up and then bop it?
To me?
No, Brendan.
Helping Luna. I'm on helping people duty.
Alright, so I guess it's just me and you, Koldor, for now. And Luna. And Samantha. Alright. The Swift Hollow will not be able to really find the chink in the armor that she really needs. But we'll try to slash out anyways. Because she does have her friends. No advantage, but she'll try to slash out twice.
Alrighty.
Ah.
Ooh, as that
25.
will definitely connect. Nicely done. So you slice into this attacking head. Ooh, almost cutting through its entire, like you say, as you get up to its neck, this cut runs down through the soft tissue between its scales and almost completely cuts off its head, but not quite enough. As it will take a hearty amount of damage. Yeah!
As it is also nearby, Swithalo sort of sharply kicks its head this time, trying to get it to at least recoil slightly as she will disengage. As a cunning action, just try to kick it away, make it recoil, give her some sort of recourse, as she will try to get the owl to fly. I doubt it can fly through pillars, so we will go a little bit higher, perhaps. Just teasing it at 30 feet.
Okay,
Sort of
so going
teasing
up,
it, forcing it to just. Because I have a feeling it's still within its attack range, but
going up 30 feet, you said?
yeah, going up 20 feet, so that we are 30
Okay.
feet in height.
You're at 30 feet, gotcha.
We'll move. I wanted to keep it focused on me. Yeah, I guess we'll move like right here.
Alright. About 10 feet this way.
Yeah. 2, 3 eyes on me. Actually, how much more movement do I have?
How much more movement? You move 20 feet up, you've moved 10 feet to the left. So 30, you got 30 more to go.
Okay, we'll hover over the pillar just in case.
So you go
Across the
15
pillar.
feet that direction and then 10 feet higher to go over the pillar.
Yes.
Alright.
Yeah, just in case my owl friend is kicked out from under me somehow. I won't be
Makes sense.
falling that far.
As you're hovering over a
Then
potential
that's right.
safety net.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Alright, as it comes down to Luna, stuck into the ground, sort of prone, not able to get any closer. There's an owl behind you trying to help you. There's a giant monkey man trying to help you. What do you do?
Pretty certain that she can't really get out herself, but is just going to gather the dark sand that she is controlling and coalesce it into the hound as the hound will stab its sword into the ground and release it in Scourge's face as a bonus action. It's a quick and cast. I will cast slow on him.
Ooh. The shadows around you fade, and then soon the magic tries to consume this creature's mind. Although the spikes coming from the hound make it quite hard to fight off the magic. Let's see if Pharaoh can. As the spikes reach out trying to get into Pharaoh's mind. Ooh, I think it just barely fails that.
Yep.
As these heads that are all
Nice.
snapping out wildly begin to very, very gradually slow down. As this creature is indeed slowed.
Actually, I will also hold out as the shadows form around her hand and shoot out at this creature as I will chill touch it.
Ooh, as the chill touch comes reaching out towards him, shattering against the scales. This tiny little skeletal spike trying not quite making it past his defenses.
That's fine. That's my turn.
Even with the slow, make it sure. Cool, alright. Put you on that. Good shit. As its body moving slow, you can see the heads trying to react. Its voice now basically slurred in this strange, like, dissonant. You can feel all around you the sand shift once more, but this time it does not seem to pull upon you. It doesn't seem to drag you down or away. It pulls up against your clothes and goes up into the air, and then begins to billow and storm all around you guys, as to the outside perspective of Persephone, and I guess Samantha, and technically Swift Hollow. A lot of you guys, actually. Holy shit. Dust and sand begin to billow and swirl in a great cyclone around its body, as it seems like this thing has created something of a warding maelstrom around itself. It creates this large, essentially 40-foot radius swirling veil of sand that the first 10 feet and outward seems to be heavily obscured from you guys, as you just see a swirling cloud of sand. Those within the inner 10 or 20 feet radius only have it lightly obscured. So creatures like the Hound, Quildor, and I guess part of... No, you're fine. And some of the owls stuck in the ground can see Pharaoh amidst this swirling sand, but the rest of you are effectively blinded from it and things from within. As Quildor, surrounded by this sand, this cyclone, almost seems like earlier you had tried to pick up, squaring away with the Hound against Pharaoh. What do?
You can't use the sand against me. I'm the Sand Whisperer. As the sand just seems to coalesce around me, as it whips around, as it just kind of breaks away as my sword cuts through it, as I go into my fighting stance. As I swing out. And I'm aiming for the one that was hit with Persephone's flame. I'm kind of interested to see how that's boiling and bubbling as I swing out.
All right. Ooh, it seems like this thing, first strike cuts deep, tears into the flesh. The second strike, it's not quite enough. It looks like
slowed.
It's coalescing. And I was like, it's coalescing for a bit, but then your edge catches it in the right spot and you make the cut. As of all three of those will definitely connect. You're watching this billowing, boiling spot that Persephone has basically burned into this thing. And although this thing's flesh bleeds freely, it seems the moment that fire hits this thing's flesh, it begins to singe and boil, almost like searing like a scar. Ooh, as it takes a mama amount of damage. There. Nope. Ah. Is there anything else you want to do, Quildor?
Nope, that will be my turn.
All right, amidst this swirling sandstorm, this creature slowed its heads, turning to and fro. He's gonna do the one thing he can, as all the heads seem to be slowly reaching out for their various prey. One of these heads. Oh boy, let's see. Who's the fastest? Who's the fastest?
Which head's the fastest? It's a race against time.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, going over the fastest one, it would be, this one head coming down, all of them reaching out as fast as they can, but terribly slow. The only one that makes it in time in this 6-second interval would be the head coming down towards the Hound.
Whoa.
Poor Brand's in the stands going, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
And it's a -2. Does attack roll? There's this one.
Oh,
Nope,
I don't think Brand can see anything.
As he's trying to bite down at the Hound, at Champa.
Oof.
That'll be 18 damage. Ooh.
Barely only 9.
The Hound takes the great bite. You can see a chunk of him get torn away, but then recompose itself as he is still standing. And as this creature continues to try and move itself, you can see its body slowly but surely. Ooh, it's super slow. Half it. More of it. Again, before its legs seemed to be sort of stuck in the ground, halfway buried. Now its form seems to be... Shit, I guess it is that way. Just barely, just the tips of its head seem to be all but buried in the sand. Still capable of moving, but almost completely hidden into the sand away from you guys. As he is about 20 feet deep, but his heads are still sticking out like a bunch of snakes in the sand.
Whack-a-mole time.
Yeah, give me that attack roll, as he is moving in your range. If you want to attack him.
In my range, like he's moving?
He's basically moving down. He's sifting down to the sand.
Oh.
Ooh. As it swings, gets caught in the wind swirling around you and pulls the blade just slightly too far away. As he is almost completely underground.
With all my cuts on the one head, is it still there?
It seems like it's... Oh shit, you're right. As the head seems like finally cut through in that final strike, as eventually it falls away from your body, hits the ground, but you can see the boiling now has spread into the core of this thing's neck. It seems like blood's trying to pool out of it, but instead it starts to boil and scar and slow. It's not quite frothing and excited, it's more just sort of like a slow, languid boil.
How loud is this wind whipping around us?
Not enough to deafen you, but pretty fucking loud. People inside, I guess people inside of it would just have a hard time speaking. You'd have to give me a charisma check or a constitution check to just try to roar if you want to talk to people.
I will do a constitution check.
All right.
Just constitution straight?
Just straight constitution.
Oof.
Ooh. As you take a deep breath to try and yell out it. Sand. Shit, sand.
Goddamn feathers.
As it comes to Samantha, you're now standing on your pillar, seeing this great cyclone swirling all around this spot. Can't see what's inside. Occasional glimpse of what looks to be glowing eyes of this great beast slowly maybe disappearing.
Yes.
What do you do?
Maybe hearing the sound moving around or something like that. Just sort of wincing from the pain at death's door in a lot of ways, and out of tools, out of backup plans. King of the Beasts, I hope you're watching your daughter fight for her life. I don't ask you for much, but I ask for your guidance now. Keep me a secret like so many others. As an action, I am going to call on a bit of magic and try to hide myself away behind the moonlight, as I am going to cast a little greater invisibility on myself.
Alrighty. Fading away from sight.
I'm keeping my scepter in my hand and reaching down for the wand. I think I see you just enough, as I will bring it up and hope that the blessings are with me, as I will put out yeah, 2 Eldritch Blasts as a bonus action. Why is it not out of my charisma? Here we go. Calling on the last 2 charges, as I'll give you that roll in a second.
Okay.
Focusing all of her attention and her extremely enhanced sight, and along with the fact that this thing cannot see her, hopefully attacking normally.
Seems it's gonna be sort of a shot in the dark, as you can barely see this thing. Pretty sure it can't see you, as again, we're not really using the blind as blind rule, you know, the whole thing of like you're both blind, both disadvantaged, so you would do a normal shot, but narratively, you're just kind of shooting in the dark and hoping you get him. Because you cannot see shit inside. Ooh, has 2 shots, and then you can see inside 2 sparks of light in this like great shadowy form, as it seems like you have struck it.
As per usual, I will try to shove it as well and just push it 20 feet.
As it seems to strike into what looks to be this large shaking pillar above it that suddenly shifts. You can see there's sparks of this great sandstorm around it for a moment, as it seems to strike into it, as it will take, ooh, mama. You just see the sandstorm get pushed away.
Knowing she struck true then. Good. Oh, and then... Come on, Mala. Be with me. As the wand does not crumble to dust. Those are the last 2 charges. That's it for me.
Alright, this creature inside this sandstorm, I don't think he can take reactions. I don't think he can. Nope. But he can do something else that's really dirty. As this head getting pushed up against the wall, you can see one of them land and wind, or I guess Goldor would see it, wind around against one of these creatures prone on the ground, stuck in the earth, and just go in for a bite. It's going to be using one of its legendary actions to make a bite attack. Slowly, finally reaching its prey. Gotcha! Ooh.
Oh.
As you
good
feel a
job.
twinge in your magic, Persephone, as... hopefully it doesn't.
Sorry.
Hold on, let me just do this real quick. Test. Okay, cool. Making sure I'm not killing the initiative bird. Vanishes.
Don't worry,
As
I have the
Tamargon.
initiative bird.
You're for a moment inside this swirling sandstorm next to Luna, but now it seems to be pulling away from you.
Oh! Oh, I can't see you again. Let's see if we can get you unstuck, shall we? As this gigantic form, as he starts to lead in, as you start to see with a big grin on his face, the canines and the incisors start to grow and the hair starts to elongate as I get closer and closer. I don't know if your action says stop or not, but I see this like sand growing up your body as I raise my giant hand. As I know my strength, even with his enhancement, may not be enough, as I just start to strike down one after another as I just start tearing this sand away from your legs, as since I can use Dex, which I was unaware of, I can use a little bit of DM inspiration here to try to free Luna as I tear away bits and pieces of sand one after the other. It almost looks like I'm about to clip you and just tear into your skin with my claws, but it's like every little cut is just an inch away, tearing away this crap around you.
All right, give me that Dex check with advantage. Oh, as you put your fingers into the sand, it's start to pull, start to rip through and try to loosen it for a moment. It just seems to sift back into place. The moment you try to grab onto her and pull her out when it's weakest, it seems like it's reconstituted itself.
That's fine. I'll keep today. That's me.
Alrighty, as this creature,
Wait, does the check get worse if he fails?
if you fail, technically. I think I wrote it that way, but it's only if you really fail. If you try it and you fuck up, you start sinking lower. As, yep, this creature, as he's going to try and, fuck, who else is in there?
Strike Quill.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh, the one that was striking took got his head cut off. Let's roll. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this one, this largemouth come reaching around, and he's gonna try and bite at this owl still on the ground, finally going after his prey. Ka-chomp.
Oh, he did.
Sink down. Again, the next moment you feel another burst as your magic seems to fade away, as it seems like another one of your beasts has been destroyed.
Sorry.
As the hound still alive. What do you do, hound?
Staying alive.
I don't have tactics anymore. Well, I mean, he's like 40 feet in the air. Is he still within 5 feet of that creature?
I don't think so. 'Cause he's been sinking, hasn't he?
He's about 25. He's going down to the ground.
Oh,
He's like
that's
sinking into the sand. Slowly.
okay, so no more pack tactics, but he's gonna try and make a strike at this creature. Knock him prone, I believe.
Ooh, as he's a little too tough, but thankfully he's slowed, leaving his underbelly exposed long enough to strike him.
Good hound, I believe in you.
All right, as he's going to take. Oh shit! All right, as you will cut into his side. Nice. Cutting into his side with the edge of your blade, but it seems to catch him on the other side. Fuck. Let's see. Let's see. It's not magical. Oh, but fortunately, it's too far sunk to the ground. One of the heads rears back as you knock it up with the sword, but it's not enough to flip his whole body over.
Let's just start.
All right, and with that, that strike is gonna demand retaliation. Actually, let's do 1d20. 1d2. There's 3 heads trying to still do that thing.
Flip a coin.
Ooh, as this head, although it rears back in pain, next one comes reaching down, trying to bite down at Gildor. Here he comes. 23.
Will not connect as he just comes. I just look like a matador as I just kind of brush to the side as the head just goes by, as I just kind of look at it and give it a little wink.
All right, Persephone.
I can't see anything in the dust
You
storm,
see a
right?
big old dust storm. You see some bolts fly out from seemingly nowhere in the distance and seem to push the sandstorm away, but looks like it's still persisting.
God, and then it's so on the ground. Everything is going to shit. Okay. How close am I? Not close enough. I am going to have my owl fly us over here. I think that's close enough. Just barely. All right, and I am going to use my action to cast a produce flame towards him again. Or is that
All right.
disadvantage?
It will be a disadvantage. You're basically shooting into a crapshoot.
17?
Ooh, fortunately, a 17 will connect as it's just barely too slow to avoid the attack. As you can see, for a moment, a flash of fire inside as this creature takes a hearty blast from your flame. And again, Kulor and the Hound, you can see that bubbling as the fire strikes in this creature's flesh.
Okay, Hannah's first looks at everybody still sinking into sand since she can't do much else. Yeah, that's my turn.
All right, the owls on the ground are still stuck. They're gonna do their best. Unless you have another command for them.
No, I believe in you.
All right.
He says, but very scared.
As he's going to try to make a save with this check. Ooh, still stuck in the ground. Another one. Ooh. Unfortunately, this creature is just stuck in the earth trying to get their wings free from the sand. What about this creature here, 40 feet in the air?
Damn.
As it pulls down woof, out of the sand cloud, looking around, going down to this creature's level, which is about 10 feet off the ground, and going in with some talons. Scrap!
Not today. Ooh, that one bite.
Can you, like,
That one's
can
catch
you-
under the head.
Can you like swoop down, attack, and then swoop away?
Certainly seems like it.
Yeah!
As
let's
these
do that.
claws slice into this thing's head, catching the head of the serpent, who lets out a terrible hiss of pain. And then immediately the head tries to rear up and attack, but seems like this creature goes back up in the air.
Aha!
Although doing so, he goes flying up and goes back into the sandstorm. Because it's a 20-foot radius. And then 20-foot radius above. So yeah, back into the sandstorm.
Hide in the sand, my love.
Okay. Is that all you had them wanted to do?
Yeah. Yeah. My
Alrighty. As Swift Hollow, now surrounded by this billowing sand you cannot see through. It seems like the closer you get towards the center of this maelstrom, the thinner this storm becomes, though. You're just on the precipice of it. You could see a moment ago, just barely, but then it got pushed away.
Does that one try to get me out?
What?
Does that one try to get me out?
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
As he will try to help you as best as he can. Hey! As
Hello.
these teeth catch onto you and then pull you out, plucking you like a big old bird, as you are no longer restrained. Thank you, Luna.
God.
And then plants you on your feet. All right, Swift Hollow, had a moment of vision inside this storm, but then you got pushed, or it seemed like the storm got pushed away from you, and now you're completely blinded by this swirling sand. But it does seem like the closer you get to the center, the thinner it gets.
Getting buffeted by the storms with all heads towards the center. I guess like right here.
Okay. Immediately you pull forward, and you can see down, about 10 feet sticking out of the ground, are these heads of these serpents slowly sinking down into the sand.
So I have to dip downwards.
A little bit, yeah. If you want to get right in front of it.
Okay, we'll head down to sort of Quildor's level. Do you need the owl, Quildor?
Can I hear him say
The owl
that?
can dash.
You can hear within the center of the storm. It's muffled, but you can hear it.
No,
No,
fine.
Swithalo like moves the owl down to Quildor, to his level.
All right, the owl goes down to Kuldor's
Got
level
lots of fly speed.
at the ground.
Oh, don't go to the ground.
I mean,
Now
not
he's
okay.
stuck.
Hovering over the ground.
Hovering
Sure,
just
fine.
over the ground.
No, I'm fine. You use it.
And Swithalo will basically tell the owl to try to ride the currents as best as it can, and she will command the owl to take the dash action.
Alrighty.
Sort of hover over. Try to basically the end goal is somewhere over here.
Alrighty,
Just
trying to go
flying
over. Oh, trying to fly
trying
over
to find
it?
another pillar. Yeah, just flying over it.
Alrighty.
Still within its reach, just barely, but sort of soaring on the air currents.
That's funny. As you do see these things, let me move this out the way real quick so I don't put on top of you. There we go. As you do see these heads, at least one of them that had its eyes turned on you, trying to reach out to grab you, but it seems like it's unable to do so. Way too slow. Just going up in the air where you once were.
With Hollow, now within sort of its reach, is going to try to strike out at it. Using her synchronized dance, able to get 2 swift strikes in one attack.
Alright.
No advantage, but thanks to her allies, you can sort of get cheap shots on her. Ah.
Hell yeah. Ooh.
Oh, you're not one.
As the blades course
It's
through
okay,
the
that
air.
just means that we hit the net 20.
Yeah, the head sort of pulls away at the last moment, and some sand sort of buffets between you and it, preventing you from really getting a clean strike, or a clean spot of a strike. As that will definitely not do it.
Yeah, it almost knocks the daggers out of her hand, but Swithalo calls it back and out of the air, thankfully enough. As that's Swithalo's turn.
Alrighty, as Luna now plucked free from your sandy tomb, but surrounded right next to this whirling storm where you saw the hound had charged in. What do you do?
Thank God. Thank you, Tamar. Thank you, Al. Thanks for stopping me. I'm gonna get the absolute fuck off of the sound. I'm gonna hop onto this owl. Use him to go. I'll just go 30 feet in the air.
30 feet in the air. I'm gonna slide you right over here so I can put a little thingy on him. Bow, 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 bow.
I'm still concentrating on my magic. The shadows are going to start to wrap around my hand again, but not really wanting to risk it. I'm going to. Maybe the sandstorm will go away soon. So I'm going to wait until the sandstorm goes away to try and chill touch it.
Alright, holding your action. Probably really
I have
far.
120 feet. I'm a sniper.
You're a spell sniper, baby.
So yeah. Wait until the sand goes to chill touch them.
Alright. As the moment you can see the maelstrom now slowly but surely fading away. Eventually, it seems like the storm finally has faded.
There he is.
And immediately as the sand goes away, I'll shout out, "Strike it with fire and its heads will not return!"
Too late.
This bolt goes flying and
Chill touch
strikes
will work
into
too.
this creature. As
Stop killing. Just stop it.
as it strikes into his body and seems to stab, and some of its already slow movements seem to sicken as it seems like these black veins begin to run up its form before they fade. So it seems like it's draining some of the life out of him. But as it pulls itself free, the spike now fading away from its form. You feel the ground around you once again begin to shift, this time trying to seemingly depose itself. Actually, no. The ground beneath your feet, Tamarkan, the Hound, and Krildor, and I guess technically these creatures here, would begin to sort of swirl and turn, and this time, sort of before, you're trying to surf the sand, moving in the opposite direction. As I need all of you guys to give me some dexterity saving throws. Ooh. Ooh.
You can't use the sand against me.
A night.
Oh, ow.
Or Tamarkan. As these guys gotta make some saves. Hey! One of them somehow manages! As it seems like Tamarkan and the Hound, you two and one owl, have the sand beneath your feet suddenly surge and pull as you find yourself knocked off balance, knocked prone to the ground, and pulled as close as you can, up to 15 feet closer, towards Pharaoh. This one goes about 15 feet right here.
I'm not encased though.
Nope. Unless you're still encased for some reason, it only pulls you forward.
Hey, all right.
It is not. Basically, it's like getting a sand tidal wave beneath your feet, knocks you off your feet, and slides you. As this guy is knocked prone. Alright, Kuldor miraculously able to stay on his feet, great and balanced, as the Hound is also knocked prone. This owl somehow stays away. As that is
Doing great,
player
honey.
As Quildor, still standing on her feet strong, this creature still somewhat submerged in the ground.
So I'm gonna move up. Looks like he's still slowed. As I'm going to swing out with my sword. As the sand just seems to shift forward, it almost makes like this wave as I will just run, and almost understanding how it's going to do this, I jump on the wave and just carry the wave as I've been paddling beforehand. As it just launches me into the air as the sword comes sliding through, trying to sever another head.
Oh, mama!
Yep.
All right, let's see.
Quildor surfs, baby.
20 plus 20 plus 11, 51. As those slices come ripping through its head, tearing one clean off and causing it to fall dead to the ground.
Just watching that burn on it.
51. Yeah, mama. As you do a hearty amount of damage.
And before I come to the ground, you just see the sand just kind of whip around me as it almost revitalizes me as I will use some, bad second wind. But gets me back to max HP.
All right. Riding the wave, as it were. All right. And with that, Barrow still slowed. You can see again, it's two of its stumps now continue to try and bubble and boil, but it seems as if nothing comes from him. Maybe it's the slowing magic that prevents it. Maybe it's the fire that burned it. Maybe it's something else. But it seems like these heads are no longer growing back from within this from this parted maelstrom. As it's going to go down towards, let's see, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yeah, the creature that's trying to cut off one of its heads, as it's going to try and go for a big old juicy bite, Quildor. Kerchomp. 24.
Lose a
It
head.
has... Yeah, it did.
Nice. Mike is over
And
30 damage.
Yep, and as the snake head comes down, you just see the sand that this creature's used to working with just bubbles up as it just creates this wall. Almost these little creatures just kind of boil up in front of Quildor as the sand just encases him as I use shield.
All right, raising your shield and buffering away that attack, keeping it from striking you. As the creature will continue, again, albeit very slowly, to sift its way down, down, down. As
it starts to move, I just...
you already used your reaction.
Oh, you're right.
Just shield.
Mhm. As I guess technically the Hound and Tamar Khan, if you still have your giant rod, this thing's trying to sink its way into the ground away from your touch.
As I'm getting back up to one leg up underneath me as I see it trying to flee, I just twist my body and strike out, stabbing out with my bar with one hand with this. With a nice 13. I did it!
As the bar comes swinging and misses in the sand, but fortunately oh shit, that fucking great sword. A normal attack, prone but having his pack tactics, that will connect, doing 9 slashing damage. Mamma mia.
Do it. I believe in you.
Jesus. Let's see.
I should have rolled that one.
Let's see. Oh, as although the strike connects, its body seems to slowly but surely sink down into the sand in this great mound and seemingly disappear before the mound begins to settle and spread. As he's got to make a save real quick. Almost forgot about that.
Where did she go?
Ooh, shit. Okay. As you can feel your magic, Luna, slowly but surely, the thing holding it still fade. As I forgot, everyone always forgets you make saves at the end of your turn with slow. It's our tradition, everyone.
Yep.
All right. As Samantha, as it comes to your turn, you can see this massive beast, once the maelstrom has faded, seems like it's moved down in its space, and then eventually just seems to slither down into the sand.
Covered by the moon shadow, Samantha, a spell sniper herself, a patient huntress, calls on her most reliable magic, holding it in place, waiting for the perfect opportunity, and using a bonus action will twist it, calling on the secrets of Amallah. Trying to put down this false queen, she will call on poison that even this thing cannot withstand, as she will ready an ethereal blast, quiet and white like the pale moonlight, waiting for it to appear again.
Alrighty.
That's it for me.
Let's see. Quildor, Hound, Temarkon. I guess Giant Owl. Give me a perception check.
Is it define the creature? Does the hound always know this?
Oh, the Hound always knows. True. But still Quildor and Giant Owl, give me a check.
I'm coming.
Oh, here we go.
Perception.
I need to watch my owls.
Here, I got you. Do you have advantage? Hey, here, it's like, hey, all right. I won't give it to him. It's fine. Bah. Oh shit, Al! Look at you. As the sand sort of rises and falls and sprays, Temarkon and the Hound, or Temarkon and Quildor, not able to discern where it goes after the mound disappears, but the giant owl sort of turns its head, starts spreading its feathers, trying to get itself out of the sand still, completely stuck, but seemingly turning its head and its eyes to and fro as if trying to focus on something. And little Mr. Hound, you can feel with your sensing powers that this massive shape has shifted away from what seems to be once was this space before you, now shifting closer and closer to Mr. Quildor. As Temarkon knocked prone on the ground, but now your prey is seemingly sifted to the sand.
Get back up to my feet. Oh, I was about to join the party and lost. As I shift myself over towards this owl, looking around myself. At least, Wedo, you're doing a fine job. Keep at it, will you? Maybe this will help. As I reach my hand up, you can see a shimmer in my left hand as that strange fruit begins to appear once again. As I bite into it, and Persephone and Quildor and myself all feel that strange, soothing taste in your mouth that seems to just make your mind clear for an instant. As I'm also gonna give it to the owl that Persephone is on, because I can do 4 targets, but there's not enough people in range. As I'm casting Bless at a 2nd level.
All right.
Your town's about to die. It's gonna die.
As, all of you feel that golden armor spread across you for a moment, and it feels like you guys are invigorated, gaining the benefits of Bless. Persephone, Temarkon, Persephone's owl, and Quidador. Quidador.
What were you using for Bless?
I'm using angel wings with a halo to differentiate between flying symbol and blessy bless.
And as a bonus action, I am just going to fill my body with a little bit of ki, stretching the iron bar, or the steel bar across the sand around me to form a circle as I take a defensive stance and just defend myself, being ready to dodge at a moment's notice. Taking the dodge.
Alrighty. As let's see. Okay. Okay, and again, the giant owl's head turning around, trying to face it. The Hound, with your special magic senses, you can feel this creature has shifted places from just underneath the Quildor to just behind him on the edge, and it seems to be getting closer to the surface. As the Hound, it comes to you. Prone on the ground in this difficult terrain.
Hey, the Hound always knows where this thing is.
Yeah.
Stand up and can't move too far in the difficult terrain. You can only really move once. So he will dash, move another 15 feet. I don't know where a creature is going to pop out, but he's going to try to move as close as possible. I assume that's a good area. And that's it.
All right. Let's see. All right. And in that moment, you can feel the ground suddenly shift as one of these giant heads pulling the rest of its body out of the sand comes bursting forth bite coming up at Mr. Quildor with a bit of advantage, trying to
I get my
sneak up
reaction?
and chomp him. Yes, you do.
Let's see, because he might just happen to not be able to do anything.
Let's see. As this beast comes bursting forth from the ground. Ooh, as both those will connect. Holy mama. As that does... Ooh, shit. 3 damage, mama. 33 damage,
And you
mama.
see just these two massive pale serpents come screaming down, quietly though, screaming in terms of speed, from that pillar all the way in the far left, and just slam home onto this thing, clatching onto its back and wrapping around it as it seems to channel this horrifying necrotic energy into it and try to drain its strength, trying to incapacitate it if it fails this saving throw.
Alrighty, as he's quite a tough boy, and he's got some
I'm sure.
magical resistance, but we'll see. As this energy tries to take over, serpent versus serpent, who shall win?
The serpent.
Oh, as the magic courses over him, he immediately shivers and breaks it off, and as the magic shatters, one of these heads is coming after you, Mr. Kulor, with advantage. Kerchomp! Ooh, a crit.
As he
But you got
comes
the shield.
in, the shield comes up and just buffets away the bulk of that attack. As the fang just seems to glance off and just clip my shoulder a little bit. So I will take only 5 actual damage because of my temporary hit points.
Alright. As it comes flying forward and chomp, it just seems it barely scrapes into your armor. Although it's a hearty blow, doesn't seem to phase you too much. As Persephone, we finally come to you.
It's an action to try to help someone out of the sand, right?
It is.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay. He's still within range. I'm going to hit him with fire, because Quill said fire is useful, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that does fire anymore. Hua!
Oh shit. As it seems like this thing has gotten its speed back to it, but with a bit of Temercon's magic guiding your strike, it seems like your flames do connect as poof, strikes into this creature and again begins to boil its flesh.
She's not very happy as I'm going to poof
Away, trying to put a lot of distance, and I've seen those two owls struggle enough, and it's very sad. I tell them to stop struggling. Just stay there. They haven't been targeted yet. Just stay there. But my friend in the air can go and swoop in and fuck them up, and that's my turn.
Alrighty. As this guy's still gonna try and get himself out of this dangerous predicament. Little bit disadvantage. Still
Nope.
stuck in the ground.
Oh, ow.
This dude down here is now normally stuck. Well, he's still technically stuck. He's not prone. Tries to get himself out. Still stuck. And this guy over here is gonna try and attack, you said?
Yes. Swoop in, attack, swoop up.
Fly in, try to get to him. Let's see, that was that far? Let's see. Up 30-ish feet. Fly, or 25 feet. Flying up, down towards him. Up at his full height. He is pretty fucking tall, so we can still get to him. And he's gonna go in for them claw attacks. Ooh, this time scraping against the scale. As he's gonna turn and try to fly back to the best of his ability. As too quick for this creature to try and bite at. Alright. As Swift Hollow back on your pillar, you see this creature trying to strike down at Quildor with looks like the Wounded Hound and the Knight standing together, forming a bit of a front line between you and it.
Wow, my heroes. Swift Hollow fucking dives into this shit. I don't have a crossbow anymore. I have no fucking clue where my crossbow is.
Uh-oh.
Somewhere in the sand.
Crossbow doesn't exist. There's
Have
only
your short
daggers.
bow?
Shut up. Daggers.
Alright. As you're gonna
Oh, you're
fly
nice.
on in, Mr. Birdman.
Hell yeah. Dude, I have tons of resistance. Trying to get this guy to snap at me all game. Breathing. But he's still slow, so.
He's not
Or
slow.
she.
Nope.
9 more?
Nope, he's
Why is
slow.
it 12 o'clock?
Oh, I didn't take it off. Thank you.
Take off the clock.
Oh, that's
Drop
actually
the
on
clock.
Quildor. That was actually on Quildor.
It's actually his
Oh,
clock
okay.
necklace. It's actually
He's got a
for
bomb
Flave the
inside of him.
Hydra, so.
Alright.
One of
Yeah,
his
so
heads
many
came back as
daggers
Sir
coming out
Mix-a-Lot,
on
so...
Ooh.
Hey, 23.
as those blades will stab and cut and rip. As you see one of the heads get torn from its haunch. As it will take a audio. Actually, no. Oh, so close. Almost taking off a head. Cutting up into its neck, but it barely remains attached.
Ooh, did I take off a head?
Mud damage. What's it?
Did I take off a
good
head?
point. Fuck yeah, you took off a head. You blew one right off its fucking shoulders.
Ripped it right off.
Nice,
It seems
29
like out of
damage.
total, there is now 3 left, and then there's like 3 more bleeding stumps. As anything else you want to do?
Yeah, she'll fly down around 20 feet.
Okay.
More on level with the beast. Raising it head on, and also just in case if I fall, I'm not falling 40 feet.
Okay. All right, my friend. Come down to Luna. Now on a bird, 30 feet in the air. It seems like this creature is down half of its heads. It seems like the fire is boiling away at the stumps. What do you do?
Hang on, let's see. If I miss this, I'm gonna just leave the game. Alright, guys. So Luna is going to raise her hands into the air as just the energy starts to coalesce from the shadows around her and create this giant ball of just black flames as she will shoot it out at this creature. And so my only spell slot is a 5th level spell slot, so I'm gonna throw a chromatic orb at 5th level.
All right, give me that
DM's
attack.
inspiration.
I have no inspirations.
Oh.
I used mine already. I had to give it to you.
Oh,
21. Take off a head.
You had 30 health left. How do you want to do this?
Yes! Alright, phase 3, baby, let's do this.
Easy clap, yeah, hell yeah. Alright, you have taken a...
Because I see... It still only has like 1 head left, right?
He's got like
Or is it
2
different?
more, but like 3 of them have been severed from his total of 6.
Right, as Luna is going to target just one of the stumps, just ignoring the heads altogether as she attempts to sink this giant ball of fire into its open neck wound, just travel its way through its veins as the flames just seem to seep through its entire vein nervous system as it just completely shuts it down and then explodes from the inside.
As you see the fire stab into this. So Swift Hollow almost cut off one's head, so there's a big gaping wound in that side as the bolt goes flying, spinning, and catches into the wound, and seems to boil and bubble, and with all that magic compacted inside of it, it's not dispersing it is sinking, like almost like a flaming sphere down to this thing's throat, as smoke begins to flow and pour out of the wound, almost searing it shut for a moment. The thing opens its mouth and mimics a dragon as fire billows from its maw until eventually you can see from all the mouths fire, almost like a dragon spewing out these flames, and almost like a one of those wiggly wobbly looking sprinklers. Fire as eventually the actual stumps themselves begin to spew smoke until eventually within the sort of what do you call it, semi-transparent skin of this reptile, light begins to shine and then just burns once there's nowhere else to go, and these wounds explode. As without any more healing, without any more magic keeping it alive, you can see this fire turn a bright white and singe away at the flesh holding it together until but bones begin to clatter down onto the soft sand one by one. And there is a stillness to the crowd. What do you guys do?
I'm going to... How far is this range? I'm going to use the Unspoken Bond to tell Persephone to send an owl down towards me 20 feet up in the air. Like for it to fly over me, like 20 feet up.
I'm going to
You
point
guys
to
got
the
6 seconds.
only free owl.
So how
I'm going to point to the only free owl to do so.
And as
I
that owl flies down... Oh, never mind.
want to swoop here with my owl and try to use my thorn whip to pull out this one. My botanic reach. This one
Sure.
gets stuck.
Give me that attack roll. He's pretty easy to hit. Just wrap around his body and then actually it's fucking super easy. Yeah. Plop him out of the sand easily enough, able to keep him out As the sand swoops down beneath you, Quildor.
As the bird flies 20 feet up in the air, you just see the sand around Quildor just whip into this torrent as I will Misty Step onto the back of this bird and then fly it around the arena, just shouting the victory of the Valiant Vanguard.
Yeah, way too long, my friend. 6
Well,
seconds
I'll
to do a
do
thing.
that, and I'll start to go towards the crowd.
All right.
Trusting nothing, I ready another ethereal
Yeah.
blast.
Yeah, I'm telling
right.
this owl to get up into the fucking air.
All right, the sand
I want this
around
thing to try
you.
to
just
get itself
goes-
out.
Just goes up into the air, just into the central position of the circle, and then just, just with her arms outstretched, standing on the owl, just posed like that, with a smile on her face.
All right. Tamarkan, what are you doing all this? Seems like your allies are starting to gather up and move around. What do you do, my friend?
That's all we had for a fight. I didn't even get to start. And, give me nothing to do. So I just walk over and put my bar behind my head as I just plop my butt on the sand. I suppose that is it. Maybe next time.
As after the stillness has come, people trying to figure out what's happening next and realizing what's happened, you hear Vin go, and so it seems! And then he's immediately interrupted by the scream of the crowd as people are standing up in the stands, hands clapping, this roaring thunder of cheer and praise for your victory. And you're been caught off guard. Oh my God! As from amongst the crowd, you can hear calling out with a loud and prominent voice, and so it seems we have our new champions of the arena.
The king
Ladies
says
and
that?
gentlemen. Oh, the Wizard King.
Yeah. Okay.
The Valiant Vanguard.
As with that, Swithhollow tells the owl to launch itself straight into the air. Swithhollow, calling upon the magic of her boots, will jump off the owl. And one last somersaultic sort of feat of acrobatics, calling upon the cloud magic that even if she were to fall at such a great height, it still wouldn't hurt. Using its short rest ability as a bonus action as she's sort of doing the backflip in a sort of magical girl kind of way, using her bonus action to change her armor into something more regal, to a more, I guess, Broken Ridge kind of dress. Just in a gown, and again, with her arms outstretched, just slowly falling to the ground.
Hearing the Wizard King speak up and congratulate us, that's what pulls Samantha out of mode of combat, as she'll drop the invisibility and pull the magic stored in her scepter to recharge a single spell slot and cast Major Image above and behind Swithhollow, just conjuring up the image of just a very large, prominent set of 2 Vs indicating the Valiant Vanguard with silent, it looks like fireworks behind it as I just conjure up this phantasm around her as she descends.
Lunar is just gonna sit there and keep spamming toe touch at this creature. Stay dead. I don't want it. Stay dead.
Skeletal
Quildor
hand
just
barrage.
flies around the arena, just hyping up the crowd even more.
I'm going to join in that display, flying around with whatever owls can join me and just waving.
As it seems like hands are reaching out towards you guys as you fly close. It seems like the crowd is just completely hyped. There's a moment of hush when Swithhollow falls to what should be her death and land on her feet, apparently unharmed. As it seems like, with this, the Valiant Vanguard have found themselves, after 3 long and grueling fights, the champions of the Trial of the Beast. And with it, and something new. In their last great fight against a Titanborn, they found themselves gaining new strength, having found themselves a cut above the rest of the adventurers, having proven themselves to be of the next level, one might say, the elite of the world. But here, they have withstood the Trial of the Beast, a testament, a gauntlet of teeth and claws designed to rend and tear at those who would stand before them. There was not much cunning, not much might, or not much, technicalities required to win here. You weren't fighting other people, you were fighting, it seemed, just mindless beasts. with the last one being nothing but a storm of endless teeth, easily settled by the cunning and wisdom of you capable adventurers. And as a result, the Valiant Vanguard has earned themselves a greater boon, named the Champions of the Untamed Sea.
Oh, look at that pretty snaky!
Snake boon!
An increase to their maximum hit die equal to their level, and whenever they gain a level thereafter, their hit point maximum increases by an additional point. As you guys have learned from your scars and various wounds suffered through this tournament, just how it means to survive against the strongest beasts of this land.
What? I don't get to get chunked by a breath weapon every time we fight a breath
There you
weapon
go.
having thing?
Alright, now everyone has
What?
crowns.
I want to get one shot by everything for the rest of the game, Omen. What is this?
As we will
Oh my god,
end,
yours is just really big.
as we will
Congratulations.
end this session, moving on towards not the next day, but towards the later part of the night. Something we'll have to return to another day, as although the great battle has been won, the Valiant Vanguard have found themselves quite wounded, quite hardied by this fight. There still seems to be one task left undone by a certain simian challenger. Tamarkan is not done with his antics on this day, but we will end you guys on a bit of a bonus, a bit of an extra, something we usually save for after the session, but I'll throw it out right now. Each member of the Valiant Vanguard gains, for the total fight, as well as completing the arena, 6,202 experience points.
That's a ding.
Oh, as it seems that the Valiant Vanguard has hit level 11.
Level 11!
How much?
6,202.
6,202.
All right.
86. 548.
As we will end tonight's session on the victory of the Valiant Vanguard. Having taken some time to visit this city on the outskirts of the Mobian lands to take part in the tournament, and seemingly emerged with so much more.
I feel like it's gonna become a tradition. Whenever we fight a Titanborn, I'm gonna get literally fucking blapped, and everyone else will be fine.
Stop constricting giant creatures.
Hey man, if I get taken
If
from
you help,
full,
I jump at it.
if I
Okay.
if I go from full to 4 HP, let me get my 10d10 damage in and go unconscious, because that's all I got. Oh my goodness gracious. That was quite exciting. Stealing my Hydras, how dare you? Now I have to change my token, you bitch. Like, I recognized the snake when it popped out. I was like, oh, this motherfucker. This motherfucker. Oh my god. Well. I certainly hope you all had a wonderful time with us tonight on the Song of Rapture. I know I certainly did. This Trial of the Beast has been quite a fun, I don't know, break. We always get into something, but this is what was supposed to, I guess, just be a small detour has turned into an adventure on its own. A very fun one, a very memorable one, one that we'll have to showcase on our travels. This and a marvelous dragon fight, because Samantha, in all of her infinite charisma and politicking and advertising, 100% totally recorded that fight, even though Jordan is a dum-dum and did not remember. It's hard. But there is always more D&D to be had on Lionhead Gaming. And even though we are off next week for next Thursday, right? 25th?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we will not be returning for Song of Rapture next week, but it will make its faithful return on the 2nd of July, coming up right before Independence Day, so be sure to tune in for that. And though there is not Heroes of Thylea live this Sunday either, we will be coming back around in just a little bit on next Tuesday, the 23rd, for more Kingdoms of the South, as the Apex Alliance continue their room-by-room clear of the temple deep within the Feywilds. These various acolytes and more brazen zealots, each devoting themselves to their different Feylords, each one being struck down and purged from this place, So, because the Apex Alliance, they're the good guys. They're here to get the relics of the church and get them out of the Feywild because they don't want them there anymore, I guess. It's fun. It's crazy. Tune in. You got to see it. You got to see all of our crazy flood traps and the cool loot that we get. And what's that ring do? We don't know. Maybe we'll find out. So tune in this Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern to find out. And we'll be having more games coming up in the following weeks, but we're getting into a bit of a pinch point between holidays and family time and all that other stuff. So our schedule's thinning out for a little bit, but by I would say by July 7th, everything should be back to normal, as I believe we'll be off on the 30th for Tuesday, but we'll be back on the 2nd for Song of Rapture, and then the Heroes of Thylia will make their return, streamed on the 12th. So things are shaking up, but then they'll calm back down as we get into the midst of July. So with that, I want to thank you all so very much for watching. Be sure to follow on Twitter or hop into the Discord for any changes or updates to the schedule, along with discussions about whether or not orcs are racist and if they should be, along with, fun and exciting discussions that actually, maybe change people's minds on things. So, hop in for
circles,
that.
Circles, only circles.
Circles, infinite circles. We're going to keep talking about the same things that
Bring
no one's
around
going
the rows,
to change their
Pope,
opinions
the
on, so we're going to
ass
keep bringing
shows
it up for
everything
some
is
weird
racist.
reason.
My
I don't
opinion is
understand
right,
why.
everybody else is wrong. That's how it
I
works.
don't know what's gained from talking about it for the 19th time, but
Listen,
sure.
I've taken debate classes. Debate classes, all you gotta do is argue your point and never listen to the other person's point. I'm right, you're wrong. Fuck you. I want an A. La 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 la. la,
Yeah,
la,
and
la,
if you
la.
win, you get a trophy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a trophy.
Yes, indeed. You get the trophy eventually in the mail at some point. We're going to go ahead and reach out to somebody wonderful who is streaming right now. Let's see who's out there. Go give them some love. Streaming some D&D of their own. But before we raid, I want to leave you with our parting messages. This wonderful stream, Song of Rapture, is brought to you in part by Roll20, a wonderful sponsor of this channel and its various games. In addition to that, I'll leave you with my parting message, as that's all I got for you. May your dice roll 20s, and you always make your saves.
Hey y'all.
Toodles.
Washing your hands. It's not over.
Bigger.
Keep
Bigger.
washing your
Mask,
hands.
it's not over.
Or Pharaoh will get you.